out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect as always. I got the R&B guru, the youngest in charge. What's going on, fam?
What's going on? Feels good to be back. Yes, indeed.
No doubt. We got my brother Vern out the ATL. What's going on, fam?
Good to be here with the good people, man.
No doubt.
The show.
And we got my brother Vay out of BK. What's going on, fam?
Chilling, man. The Nets in third place.
Yo, I don't know what's bro. You know what? I don't even want to talk basketball right now. We are cursed. I'm going to take 2 minutes to talk about it. We are cursed by the basketball gods. My young boy told me years ago, Kill, the basketball gods did not like all the tanking y'all did for the process. Y'all are cursed. And I said, bro, you bugging. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't do that witchcraft, curse stuff. The basketball guy. Let me explain something to you. The basketball guys are cursed. It's just a rap for us. You know, you think about it like this. Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot. Ben Simmons wouldn't shoot. James Harden don't play in the playoffs. Like, Embiid is always hurt. Then Embiid shoves a reporter. He wants to play in the Olympics. Then Paul George hurt. Now Maxey hurt. It's just like, bro, we're cursed and it's good. Man. And people will tell you, me and Ro got into it once on the show, and I'm like, yo, we got to trade Embiid. Like, I believe to break this curse, you got to trade everything that had to do with the process. You got to I'm talking the nigga who shoot the gun, the t-shirts in the stand, fire him, fire whole Betsy on the hot dogs, rehire the whole damn spot. That is the only way to break this curse. Me and they love a good horror movie. You always got to break the curse for the spirit to die. I'm letting y'all know, y'all. Like, what we like 1-8? Like, dog. Like, it's a wrap, man. I can't call it. When nut ass Ben Simmons has a better record than we do, the basketball guys have spoken. So
it's early. Don't fret.
Yeah.
The Nets ain't doing shit. Like.
Yeah, and I mean, not as Ben is there, so you know that's that too. But I can't even. It's too hurtful even. It's not even hurtful anymore. It's a joke now. Like, I don't expect anything out of Philadelphia sports. I really don't. I don't ever think we'll ever get a chip with the Sixers team as is, but it is
not
what
with
it is.
You won't. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I said we should have traded him after that MVP season because that was the highest his stock was going to be. And it's like, yo, he's never going to be healthy. Like, that's just it. You know, and I love the jokes. Like, people are like, you want to punish Embiid? Make him play 3 games in a row. Like, don't suspend him for 3 games. No, make that nigga play 3 games in a row because it just... And then the thing that pissed me off is when he was like, everything he's done for the city. And I'm like, I think we have 2 different definitions of what you've done for the city means. Because, nigga, you ain't been out the second round. You ain't done nothing for the city. Like, he should have said, I just wish somebody hired me to be on their PR team because this is so easy. I mean, you should have said, I played through numerous injuries, which is true. I can't, he had the Bell palsy. He had the mask on the year before. If you would have said that, like, yo, why y'all talking to me like that? Y'all know I'm going to play through any injury. We all good, but after everything I did for this effing city, like, that's how you want to handle it? Like, okay, bet. Yeah. So it is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
Falling whenever the wind blows and you 7'6" contributes to your injuries, man. This nigga, I don't like him, man. I don't like him.
Nah, I concur. I mean, I think it was John Sally who made that point, and it was like, I've never seen a big man get up off the floor as much as Embiid does because he plays like he's a 6'3" guard. Yep. Like, you watch Olajuwon. Olajuwon may not got up the floor a whole game. Like, why am I on the floor? Like, but this dude is constantly doing it. And so yeah, it is what it is, man. At this point, it's just, it's almost comedy. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, to quote Q-Tip. But let's jump into it, y'all. This week, we are talking about hometown pride. What it is, one of my homeboys, DJ Snipes, one of the dopest DJs out the UK, is in Brooklyn right now. If you're ever in Brooklyn, check him out. He hit me and he was like, yo, Kill, man, what did y'all feel about Boyz II Men way back in the day? Because he was like, Philly is this gritty city, it's real rumble tumble. Like, I can't see y'all really rocking with these dudes. And I was like, yo, the funny thing is when it dropped, I remember I was in 11th grade because I was taking the SAT and I was super stressed. And the only thing that kind of, like, I was like, yo, after this, I'm going to cop this Boyz II Men album. But for me, it was a sense of pride. It was like the name of the song was Motown Philly. It was blowing up. They shot the video in Philly. They're down Penn's Landing. They're outside Geno Steaks, even though we don't eat that. It just was a sense of pride. Like, wow, like Philly's back on the map. Because what people got to remember in 90, there was a long layoff between, the old school 70s Philly soul and where we're at now. You know what I mean? So that was like, wow, like, yo, this is dope. Like R&B for our generation from Philly. So it was a sense of pride. And it made me think about that. Like, okay, so what are 5 times that you felt just pride in where you're from? You know what I mean? And I love this show because, we got 2 Brooklynites over here. I'm Philly, Vernus, ATL. And what I was saying off camera is that it always felt like, and I see it now on Twitter, where people were always like, yo, we got to get New York's respect. Or New York don't mess with nobody. We got to get their respect. I hear from the South. On Twitter, I see it from, the West Coast. And some people still caught in that stuff. Like, I've at least been blessed to let that go. I think Philly has kind of proven themselves by now. But some people are still kind of stuck. Like, man, New York ain't give us no play. And it's like, yeah, nigga, that was like 40 years ago. Like, come on, yo, we gotta move forward. So we're chopping it up about that today. So again, for my first one is Boyz II Men. Kind of what I already talked about. It was definitely a huge sense of pride that they gave the city and everything like that. Now, throughout the time, I think, and again, JR, Vern, I've grown. I've matured. You know what I mean? When Boyz II Men was out, when Jodeci was out, I was into the freaking you, fiending. Boyz II Men was like, get married. I'm like, nigga, I'm in college. I'm not trying to get married. Bended knee and, I'll make love to you for the rest of my life. And, the scary dude always saying, just cheat on me, but just come back home. It didn't sit right with my spirit. You know what I mean? So, but as I've gotten older, it's like, yo, a lot of R&B songs I didn't like back then, like I really rock with. Like, I used to hate Tony Terry's When I'm With You. I was like, this got to be the worst song in the history of music. Now, I love the song. I've been married 24 years. So, again, I've matured. So Boyz II Men is definitely, one of the most incredible groups ever. On the hip-hop side, I got to go start with number 5 with Cassidy. For people who may not know, Cassidy is my young boy. He grew up on my block. You open my door, you look down the street, you see his door. I remember him first getting started when he was the Boy B. And for people from Philly, he would be on the radio every night battling. Never took an L. And around this time, I had went away to college. So I'm coming home and hearing about him like on the little visits home. And I'm like, yo, that's so dope. And, so number one, just him being able to be on the Cypher every night and destroying niggas. I remember niggas being home for the summer and niggas would come on our block and we thought it was beef. And it was niggas really just coming to battle him. And he just never took an L. It was just incredible. You know what I mean? And then the freeway battle, and even before the freeway battle, I'll never forget, I was in the Peter Pan bus station in downtown Philly. I think I was picking up T's mom or something from the bus station, and I saw him and his crew, Larceny, because that's how they got signed with Swiss. There was actually a group called Larceny, and he was in that group, and then I think Swiss kind of pulled Cassidy from that group. I remember seeing them yo, we going to New York. Kill yo, we gonna go meet with Swiss. And it was just so dope because like I said, I knew these guys. They grew up on my block. We grew up together. So it was such a proud moment to see. And then the freeway battle was just that was it for me because it was it was Swiss and his crew versus Jay-Z and his crew. And, when Free said put the beat on, it was boom, we got him, checkmate. So it was a sense of pride. And we all know the stories. You hear Hotel, you hear Gets No Better, and niggas is kill this your man. I'm yo, just keep waiting. So, and then when I'm a Hustler came out, it was boom, that's who I'm talking about. This is this is the dude who I've been talking about and everything like that. So that's it for me. It's Boys the Men and Cassidy. JR, being from Brooklyn, man, who is one of the people that brought pride in you for the borough?
Well, mine is gonna be all R&B actually, and it's just all gonna be just R&B stuff. And I just did New York, period. So not just Brooklyn, but I got a Brooklyn in there. But I'm my first number 5. I'm gonna do Rashawn Patterson.
He's from New York.
I was gonna say I didn't even know he was from New York.
Yeah, he's from the Bronx. I just remember like hearing him, and I remember hearing him on Kiss, and I remember Kiss FM, yeah, you know, and I heard Where You Are, and I just remember me and my mom, and we heard the remix, and it just felt so gritty. Like, it felt so gritty, and this is 97, because y'all know this is the time where hip-hop is about to turn top, thanks to somebody. But it was like, yo, it felt gritty, and then it was like, that's Rashawn Patterson. And I was like, Rashawn Patterson? Oh, snap, the joint, he wrote for Brandy, he wrote for Tevin Campbell, this is before all that. He was on Kids Incorporated, all of that. So just to hear that, and it just like, it was just, and we was actually back home for like a year. So we was kind of getting back home into the swing of things. So when we heard him, we was like, yo, we like this, it's gritty. And then we got his album. It was just like, Rashawn is just dope like that. So it was just like, just to hear him, it was like, yo, he's from New York and he still got that swag of New York for real. So it felt really, really good. And then him on Planet Groove and him singing like he do and really can blow and all of that. It was just dope. So I love that Rashawn is from the Bronx. So he represents New York to me. So
tell me this, best Rashawn Patterson album to get started with, if you want to dive into
the debut. The debut. That's my favorite from him. But you know what? I'm gonna say, if you're gonna start, won't you go to Heroes and Gods? And that's the last album that he did. And this is in 2019. And that's Sent from Heaven. He did Luther, Don't You Know That? He did the cover of that. Go there first, and then I would say go to the debut after that.
All right, no doubt. I've never been up on board like that. Like, his music never like came across my path like that. So I definitely want to check him out, because I hear you talk about the boy a lot. So. And
I went to, because then I finally went, because when the album turned 25, I actually went to finally see him live. And he is so New York, yo, for real. Like, he came in a t-shirt, some Air Forces, and some jeans, and he sung. And the kind of music you think he's gonna, he's the one that should probably be wearing a suit, for real. But that's not Rashawn, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just had that, and he just sung the debut and had on like a flight jacket, and it just fitted, and he's just New York to me. So it was just, for me to finally see him after 25 years, it was dope. So yeah.
All right, that's dope. Vern, out to ATL, man. What's something that made you proud down there?
All right, I'm gonna start with somebody who was at my high school, 9th or 10th grade. I'm gonna start with Dallas Austin, man. Dallas Austin is instrumental to me in really putting us on the map. He's actually from Columbus, Georgia, but moved up here. And his first...
Vern, can I stop you for 1 second real quick?
Yeah.
When you say it, are in Atlanta, are y'all territorial like that? We're like, he's from Columbus. Like,
no. Okay. We don't do that. I mean, because, see, I was talking to somebody the other day about this. To me, this is just my definition. Where you're from is where you went to high school or where your formative years were spent. I'm from Gary, Indiana, but I'm from College Park, because Gary made me, but College Park raised me, and so that's what I rep more than, because I know more of College Park than I do Gary. I'm 52. I left Gary when I was 13. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, and then the other thing about that, for the Atlanta area, if you was from Macon, we clinging on to you because it was few and far between for so long that we clinged on to that. I mean, he hooked up with Joyce Spinderella Irby from Climax,
Yeah.
and got some production. I think he did something with Dougie Fresh. I didn't know this till today. I didn't know he did I Will Always Love You by Troop.
Yes, he did. And My
I didn't know
Music.
And My Music, yep. You know, he did the stuff with Boys and Men. This Is My Heart is my favorite song off the first album. And then to add to Dallas for me, another person who went to my high school, Deborah Killings. I mean,
So the underrated gem, like for real.
So when we were in 9th and 10th grade, she had a group called Princess and Starbreeze, and she redid Prince's Without You Loving Me, It's Gonna Be Lonely. And I mean, that was like, yo, and my boy Rudy, that's his cousin. So, you know, again, but Dallas was instrumental in all that stuff. He did ABC. ABC lived in my apartment complex on Garvey Road. So all those tethers are there. And one of the dopest one album group ever to me, Island Place Mobsters. That's Dallas' group. If you ain't familiar with it, you can't go on iTunes, but go on YouTube. Had some bangers, man. That was part of his group. I met Chip. Chip was in Highland Place Mobsters. Chip is another College Park legend. Chip and Dip. Chip was a maniac. That was his name in Highland Place Mobsters. He was crazy, but he could sing though. So I'm starting off with Dallas Austin.
Yeah, man. Funny thing, man, when I moved to ATL in 97, I'm out with my girl at the time. I'm like, yo, I think that's Dallas Austin over there. I gotta get my demo to him or something like that. You know what I mean? And I stepped the boy, and it wasn't Dallas, but he actually did have a studio and played guitar, and like he kind of let me come through to a couple of his sessions. But Dallas, man, when you talk about a legend, I mean, I just think, you know, he checks all those boxes. I mean, when you talk about Dark, Dallas Austin recording projects, Dark was right there in Rowdy with Rowdy Records, you know, with Illegal. Like, there was a time and point where Rowdy was right there with Bad Boy. Again, in the beginning, just how I always say for a moment in time. But Rowdy Records, I mean, and even that logo was ill, you know, so.
And I'm glad you said Rowdy. I left out Illegal. I left out
Illegal, Monica.
Y'all so stupid. Yeah, man. He had his hands in R&B, hip hop, all that stuff, man. So definitely got to get Dallas.
And I think his name gets lost with the Jermaine Dupri's and the organized confusion. I mean, the organized noises and all that. But Dallas was right there. So totally. And here's the thing: I didn't know. I didn't know that him and Kim Porter used to date, and that's
from Columbus.
Right, and that's what that movie Drumline is based off. Is based off of Dallas and Kim Porter. I had no idea about that. So that's crazy.
The ATL movie based on
The skating movie. That's because everybody used to go to
Cascade.
No, it was before Cascade. This is where organized. Because Dallas had a studio inside of the skating rink, and that's where Rico started renting that studio, man. Jelly Beans, near Greenbrier. So yeah, Dallas is instrumental in all that, bro.
Yeah, that's dope. That's a dope pull. Vague, Brooklyn. There's so many to choose from. So where are you starting in BK?
Yeah, I only have hip hop, and I didn't necessarily do. To your point, I didn't necessarily do like artists from there. I did artists, but I'm doing more like moments, songs, stuff like that. Because to your point, you know, the pride thing is like everybody's from Brooklyn, and once we start naming people and shit,
right?
So I did put them in order. So I'll start with my number 5. One moment that made me feel proud as a New Yorker, a hip hop head from New York, was Jay-Z and Nas piecing it up at the Power 105 performance. Because I thought that was a big move considering how it could have gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to not piece it up in the background somewhere and say we cool now, but to really stage a moment where people could see like were genuinely cool, and then they kind of went on to do a bunch of different things musically, outside of music, investments. They were seen everywhere. Like it was pretty dope to see, because it was showing something that 50 Cent was almost incapable of doing for a moment, right? Like he was doing more division in New York hip hop, just based off of Ja Rule connections. Which, he once went back and, became friends with people, but it took a minute to do that. But Jay-Z and Nas were the top dog dudes. And to have them, shake hands on stage and perform, even when you see them performing now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Nas coming out to do the hook to Dead Presidents while Jay-Z performs, that shit is dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, when that happened, I was kind of like, yeah, that should happen. It should unite New York at that point in time in hip hop's.
Yeah, man, that's a great point, man, because I miss those days when everybody was unified. You know what I mean? It's like you used to, for young people watching, we get the liner notes and you look at the shout outs and everybody would be shouting each other out. You know what I mean? And it was just like this unity thing. And then somewhere along the line, it just went to everybody beefing with everybody. And, it used to be them times, you would shout each other out in songs, you know what I mean? And everything like that. So, I definitely think that was a great thing.
Also, to what you were just saying, there was a time where, it'd be a song from a artist and, Ice Cube's in the background, or such and such is it. Like, you didn't know they were even cool. So like you said, that sense of unity, but then it kind of got divided and it was like this crew and that crew. So it was cool to see them kind of piece it out, to give an example of positivity in hip hop.
Yeah, that's dope. The next joint I got in at number 4 is 3 Times Dope. You know what I mean? When The Greatest Man Alive came out, in Philly, of course, we loved it. That original style, and, to me is a personal classic. And that was, and again, for people watching, every summer from like, I guess, 1st to maybe 8th or 9th grade, I spent in New York. So it was just dope to go back and it'd be like, yeah, nigga, we like EST. Like, that's dope. Like, that 3 times, like, that Greatest Man Alive, like, we rock with that. And then Funky Dividends was kind of like the icing on the cake. It was like, yeah, I mess with Funky Dividends. So, I felt like EST was kind of like, that piece that kind of was like, it ain't corny, it's dope. He had the little Gumby cut, you know what I mean? Like, I used to love seeing Chuck Nice on the drum machine back there. So, I felt like that was definitely a sense of pride, because again, for me, it was like constantly feeling like I had to prove myself to my New York niggas and everything like that. Like, okay, I get laughed out the park for, parents just don't understand and, all that stuff. So it was just dope to kind of have 3 Times Dope to pop in with that. The next person I'm gonna go with on the R&B side, I'm gonna go with Jazmine Sullivan. I think that she's probably in the R&B. I apologize, it isn't in order. But Jazmine, I just feel like, personally for me, is probably one of the dopest singers in the past 20 years. Like, I feel like Jazmine can blow with the best of them. With Jace out and blow with the rest of them, shot at the rest of them, or whatever. Like, I feel like that's Jazmine. Like, when I saw her, I don't know if it was a Tiny Desk for this last album, but whenever I see Jazmine perform, it's almost like she's an MC. Like, she's just, the way she's rhymed, the way she's singing is just like this swag to it. She's got an ill pen too. Like, I think her pen game is crazy. Just saw her in concert with Maxwell in October London, and she killed it. When you think about the songs Lion, Tigers, and Bears, all her hits are just, really big hits, and it was definitely dope. I'm never one to talk about awards, but it was dope to see her win a Grammy and bring that back to the crib. So that would be my R&B pick, would be Jazmine Sullivan. JR, who you got up next?
I have to talk about these 3 girls, and y'all know who this is. SWV. Had to talk about these girls. Are
they from the BX, right?
Well, Coco and Lily are from the Bronx, and Taj is from Brooklyn.
Okay.
So, it's just, again, we in South Carolina at the time, we just got there. So it's like we're in culture shock. So music is living for us. for real, because we like, this is South Carolina. This is people walking outside without their shoes on. Like, this is weird to us. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we like, what is this? So it's like we in the house and it's just music living through us. That's why I know so much. But it was like when I saw them girls on Video Soul, and I never forget, and I was like, yo, they look like the girls that I would look outside my window and they look like them. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, oh my God, like they look like the girls, like with the doobies, the big earrings and the this, and then just the swag of New York. And it was just like, and I fell in love with them from then. And then after then, it was just like, just hit after hit after hit after hit. And they just kept that New York swag with them. They never lost it. You know what I'm saying? So with me, it's my favorite girl group. They just got the New York way to them, and I love them for real. So I know every time I get a chance, and you was like New York, I was like, I had to throw them in there. So SWP for real.
Question: how did they get together? Was this more of like they were friends, went to high school together? Was this like some In Vogue? They auditioned and they got put together.
Lily and Coco know each other from the same building. She knows her god sister, and they knew each other. And then Lily wanted to start a group, and she knew Coco could sing. Coco moved to Brooklyn for like 10 years, and she knew Taj. And then that's how that happened, because it used to be 5, then it turned to 4, and then when
I never knew that.
Yeah, then when they got to the label picked 3, and then it was Taj, Lily, and Coco, and then that's how the group was.
No dope. I never even knew that. Never knew it was 5 of them.
Yeah.
Vern, who you got up next for the ATL, bro?
Yeah, so I'm doing them in order of them coming out. So my next one would be TLC. And that might seem odd or whatever, but man, when TLC tip drop, bro, crazy, man. I mean, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, that Dallas on the production, them hard beats. And it's cool because I know Left Eye's from Philly, right?
Philly, yeah.
But T-Boz is from SWATs, and Chili went to Mays High School, where a lot of the Goody Mob and stuff went from the SWATs. So you had all those different elements. And for me, TLC, on TLC tip started when I was in college, first year of college. So like, bruh, I don't know about y'all, but I have never heard when that came out a girl group like that.
Nah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
Nah.
I mean, you got one spitting, one with T-Boz with that deep voice or whatever. Kier, you know how you think about your old rhymes and that was corny.
Yeah.
I had a line of like, my voice is deep like T-Boz. I'm the Tin Man, the Zaz, the group is in the pink bum,
Everybody watching, we're still trying to get Burns demos. I'm trying to get these Jones, man.
Shoot, but no, man, it was just a refreshing time. I remember TLC's album reminds me of Jack the Rapper conventions in Atlanta. Like you go down to like the warehouse and you.
Now hold tight for Vern for a minute. Let's talk about, for young folk watching, they'll know what a convention is. They'll forget Jack the Rapper. They don't even know what a convention is. So talk a little bit about that.
So each year, all the industry would come to Atlanta, and you have artists from all over trying to get a deal or get their stuff out. So you have promotional stuff like that. I remember Little John, and DJ Cersei, they had a Suzuki Samurai, I want to say, and they had a keg on the back, so they were selling beer for like $5 a cup or whatever. I mean, I saw Fife down there. It was just a whole bunch of people, and this is cool seeing, especially being in Atlanta, seeing like your musical heroes down here in Atlanta. And T-Boz, Left Eye, and Chili, man, they hold a special place in my heart because they were unique. I mean, let's be real. They not singers, but they did what they did, man, and had a unique style. And with the production of Dallas, I got TLC as second one that made us stick out. I checks with pride. And another note, in the Baby 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 video, another one of my classmates, Kawan Prather, KP, was in the Baby video. And when I get to my next person, I'm gonna bring KP back in there. So it all connected. That's one thing I love about Atlanta. Everybody is interconnected, and everybody that I'm gonna name got some type of connection together. It's like because everybody was like helping each other, you know. And Rico talks about that on something. I'm gonna talk about that when I get to my next person. So yeah, that's us.
The funny thing about TLC is you saw one with Jack the Rapper. For people, we used to always have conventions. Howard used to have a hip hop conference that I would go to all the time. Vague, I don't know. Did you ever go to the Gavin when you were up at 889?
No, I didn't get a chance to go.
Okay. The Gavin convention was crazy, and that was like for all the radio people. So like Vern said, these were like these conferences, and they would have panel discussions on sampling and just all different things in the industry. And then at the end of the night, every like label would have label parties. You know, I remember being at Rap Sheets. I worked for them. I interned for them for a minute, and it was an incredible Priority party. And this is before Jay's Reasonable Doubt dropped. And at that time on Priority was Jay, Helter Skelter. I forgot who else was on there at the time. And these conventions would be crazy because they're performing, and just over in the corner is Large Professor just chilling. Like, it was an amazing time for those conferences. And if you watch BMF, they had a scene with Jack the Rapper on that. And then if you've seen Straight Outta Compton when Cubanum was rumbling at the joint, that was at Jack the Rapper. Vern, TLC, when TLC dropped, it was like, yo, this is the craziest thing ever. You know what I mean? And it's everything across the board. And again, for people, younger people not being able to grasp it, at that time, I had never seen nobody with T-Bozz's haircut like that, like with the sideburns. It was blonde. It was like, yo, then Chili had that Ananda Indian type hair. That was flies. Like, Boys was like, yo, I like T-Boz. No, I like Chili. No, I like Left Eye. Like, you had that thing going on. This chick Left Eye's walking around with a condom on her glasses. It's like, yo, this chick is like, yo, you know, in those days, it was like a dude would keep the condom in his wallet. You know what I mean? But you ain't have no girls talking about, you know, if I need it in the morning or the middle of the night. Like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, I get it now with Glorilla and all the stuff y'all listen to. Like, that's absolutely nothing. But in 1990, like, if I wanted it in the morning or the middle of the night, like, that's some old borderline C. Dolores Tucker ready to try to ban your music, you know? And then you talk about the Baby video. Just the hip hop that was influenced, what goes back to Dallas, because you had the Average White Band sample from Microphone Fiend that's in, you know what I mean, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. You know, you got the Baby video when they're all rocking those HBCU hoodies that used to be shit at the time. So that was the thing too. And then when they come back with Creep, again, Dallas Austin with that hip hop production with them drums, the echoing horns and Creep, like TLC was just crazy. And Vague, I think we brought up one of their videos on the dance show. What About Your Friends? You know what I mean? Like, What About Your Friends? The joint that JR was doing when you first said TLC. So again, you know, I remember them in the Hat to the Back remix video. And they had the Carhartt stuff on. Like, they were just, they were literally, I think the best way to describe them was Crazy Sexy Cool. Like, I think that was so amazing about that album was it was like, yo, that's it right there. Like, so I get it. Like now, you know, I think I don't hear enough people talk about TLC. But then again, I'm not in R&B circles like that. But I feel like TLC's name definitely needs to be up there. And again, not about how many records they sold. Usually when you talk about TLC, it's like Waterfalls and all these records. Just for the barriers that they broke and what they did at the time, you gotta talk about TLC.
Yeah, because Kill during that time, we was on some anti R&B type stuff. Yeah. We were in college. Yeah. But Dallas had like Bomb Squad production on an R&B album, man. Yeah. And it's just like blew our minds kind of, man. And you mentioned my favorite song on the Oolong's TLC tip is Hat to the Back, man. That song was
in the remix? Oh my God. Crazy.
Yeah, so definitely hats off to TLC, man.
Yeah, definitely. And again, going back to Dallas, to be able to do Ain't Too Proud to Beg and Boys the Men, like you talking about doing double duty like that. from a production standpoint, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people who can actually really play aren't able to produce as well. And Dallas was able to do both at the same time and at the same level. And again, that's a very hard. I have a lot of friends who are dope musicians, but they have no idea how to get a hip hop swing or a hip hop feel to their music. You know what I mean? So for Dallas to be able to do both effortlessly is amazing. So just
and
to get him
think back to back like that, it was like ABC, Boys II Men, TLC, like that run, like right there. It was like Dallas.
And you're talking about three totally different groups.
Yeah.
Totally. And they gave them each their own stuff. That's why I'm like, it's crazy. That's why.
And again, I know it's corny now, but yo, when the Playground dropped and all that ABC stuff, man, yo, people banging with that, man.
Hanging, bro. I don't care what nobody say, man.
You know what I mean?
That shit still go hard.
And to pull my back in somebody I talked about before, ABC and TLC are not who they are without Deborah Kelly.
That part. That part.
Period. You know, the background vocals. It's really foreground vocals.
I was just about to say, she's the fourth member. She's the fourth. Yes, she is.
Yeah, so shout out to Deborah.
Shout out to TLC on that. Babe, who you got next up for the planet, man?
All right, this is definitely a Brooklyn pick, but this is another moment. I didn't expect it. It wasn't part of like, you know, is he going to say it? Is he going to acknowledge? But every time Biggie won an award, he would shout out Brooklyn. He like Brooklyn. He did it. He's not even saying New York. He's saying Brooklyn. Soul Train Awards, it's Source Awards. It's like that's the main thing coming out of his mouth, and it was part of the reason why, you know, people from Brooklyn love him because he was so Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Even with the success. So I just remember like after maybe the third time, you know, he's incredibly successful now, you know, multi-platinum, blah, blah, blah. And first thing out of his mouth, Brooklyn, we did it again. And I'm like, wow, this dude is like really home team. So yeah, that was always a sense of pride to have Big winning those awards because, you know, that whole shiny suit era, which really wasn't an era, really was just like a summer. But you could argue for Big because he was still nice with it. You know what I'm saying? So with all the commercial records and stuff like that, and then to still kind of bring it home to Brooklyn, I think that's what kept him grounded as far as, you know, his celebrity status. So yeah, just every time Big mentioned Brooklyn on award shows, you know, I always kind of, and I wasn't even at home when he was doing this. I was at D-More. So I think that used to hit me a little bit hard on some, yeah, Big, yeah, Brooklyn, what up? You know, so.
Dope. Let me ask you this, because for people watching, I want to explain why I asked Vern about that piece about Deborah Killings, is because every city is different. So like being in DC for the past like 24 years, you know, you have certain people from DC who will be like, oh, y'all from uptown, like that's soft. Like Southeast is probably like the roughest part of DC. And most people always want to say they're from the roughest part of whatever you fill in the blank, that's where they want to say they're from. So that's why I was saying I've heard some people be like, he ain't from Atlanta, he from Stone Mountain. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like asking that. But babe, for Brooklyn, can you talk about being an outsider? It just felt like just New York versus the world. You know what I mean? Was there a time that you can pinpoint in New York's history? Was it always like that? And then did it become a separation? Was there always like a borough battle like between, like now 40 years later, we're like, oh, Brooklyn or Queens or Bronx? Can you remember that happening in real time in New York? Or was it kind of just like with JR, it's like, yo, it's just all New York. Like we all New York.
Nah. Always borough battle.
Okay.
It was never outside of New York. It was never a moment, at least around me, where we were thinking about another state, another city. Even the Locks being from Yonkers. was like, what? Like, we didn't even know like black folk was from there, let alone spitters.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that could spit like this because it was always about the boroughs and battling. My next pick is something related to that. I think maybe more so now because of the internet, it feels like that. So there's people who tend to, well, everybody's kind of doing it, right? They're kind of defending where they're from and different things like that. And even when I went to college, it felt like it was more of New York versus everybody because we were outside of New York. But in New York, it was, you know, it's about borough versus borough, you know, like even with my family, like, you know, my cousin Kennedy, it was little brother, you know, it's plenty of times I'll be like, you know, you did that because y'all Queens niggas. It's never going to stop. Right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where if you spend enough time in New York, you'll see it. So,
right. Yeah, I was just asking because, like I said, from the outside in, it's like I never felt like, damn, I got to go back to Brooklyn and get Brooklyn's respect. It was like I got to get New York respect. Like it got to be a whole. So from the outside looking in, it was like the city, but that's dope. Like you said, it's all. And it's funny because I was talking with my man who was trying to be a barber, and I was like, yo, I know these niggas out in Queens. He's like, nah, I ain't fucking with them because he's from Brooklyn. I'm like, god damn, nigga, like, yo, you trying to get a job, I got to connect. It's like, nah, those some Queens niggas, I ain't fucking with them. You know what I mean? So,
you know, like, here's another example that's pretty common. I don't know what it's like now because I don't be going to clubs. But, you know, stuff like the Tunnel clubs and stuff like that, when they shouting out boroughs, that's all the evidence you need right then and there.
Right.
It's always going to be, you know, like, yo, Jersey in here. And then like, well, shut the fuck. Why are you naming them? Right.
Right.
But when it comes to different, you know, it depends on where you are. Bronx may be heavy in there. Harlem may be heavy. But I'm not just saying this because I'm from Brooklyn. New Yorkers know this. But when they say Brooklyn,
deep, yes.
We in there and we loud, we kind of saying like, yeah, we with the shits too. So we know this is a wedding, but you know, we just want to let you know shit jump off Brooklyn in this motherfucker.
That's right.
And it's in the music, right? Like everybody, yo, I get my Brooklyn niggas the air. You like, it's in the music as far as the identities of the different boroughs, but we definitely do compete. So.
It's crazy, like Kara said, and he from the Bronx, man, had to keep on making it, but Brooklyn keep on taking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pharoah
So,
Monch, other song,
yeah.
About Queens. When he say Brooklyn, it's he already know he got to do a call, you know.
Right. Right. Nah, no doubt. I hear you. Got the Philadelphia legend in the building, Trey Lee. What's going on, fam?
Trey Lee.
What's happening?
Trey.
Oh man, cut it out there, yo. You know what I mean? What's good with y'all, man? Sorry for the tardiness, man. You know.
Oh man, it's all good. I mean, the timing is impeccable because the next person, my number 3 pick coming up on Home Time Pride, is my man right here, Trey Lee. You know what I mean? Yeah, came in right on time, good brother.
Hold up. Did y'all say this?
Nah, we really words born to Jesus. This is not staged. This is not staged at all.
That's
The next thing up at the number 3 spot is and you can see it there on the board, Trey Lee, aka L Rock. You know what I mean? That's number 3. My old head, my man Steve, went to Howard. You know, I'm a freshman at Morgan. I come down for Howard Hip Hop Conference, which we was just talking about. And he's playing me his man's demo. And I'm like, yo, it was L Rock and One Step Beyond. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. And like, again, I'm never saying this because Trey's here. And y'all niggas know me. I don't even talk shit like that. But their demos was just as dope as like people who were signed songs. I mean, most of the stuff on Trey's demo made many faces. You know what I mean? So that's a testament. Most people demos, dog. If you hear my demos, come on, y'all. We might as well stop that. I ain't getting no record deal. we ain't pressing this up on no 12-inch. This is like we are just playing around trying to figure out how to do this. Not these dudes. They were incredible. So I was like, Steve, you gotta let me take this tape. Like I gotta have this tape. He was like, cool, take it. Went back to Morgan. I'm playing for niggas in my dorm, and niggas is like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, who is this? I'm playing it on 889, and I'm not telling it. I'm like, it's this nigga L Rock, and all my New York niggas like, yeah, you see niggas. I'm like, yo, this nigga from Philly. They like, nah, that nigga ain't from Philly, man. Come on, stop that shit. I'm like, nah, this nigga from Philly. And I forgot, Trey, you say something on yeah about Philly, like the Philly Roughneck. You say something, I was like, right there, nigga, like that's it. But
yeah, you go back.
Yeah. That's how much I listen to his demo. My man Ness from Brooklyn, like all my Brooklyn niggas, like loved L Rock's joint. You know what I mean? And I'll never forget. My man hit me and was like, yo, you know, L got signed. And I was like, oh, word, Then I get the 12-inch in the mail. He hit me like, nah, he going by Trey Lee now. He ain't going by L Rock. And I was like, oh, okay. So the sense of pride that I got from that to be able to go back to Morgan and to have my New York niggas who wouldn't give Philly MCs any credit, the way they loved L Rock's demo was like crazy. Like niggas was playing this shit in the dorm. Niggas was asking for dubs. Like it was like a legit. His demo was like an album on Morgan's campus back in the 90s, which was crazy to me. And again, then the sense of pride to come out and drop the theme, and it's like, see this nigga on Arsenio, see this nigga just everywhere, and to this day, people. And it's funny, niggas will throw the joint on for me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like niggas will be like, yo, man, my homegirl said you from Philly. I want to throw this Trey Lee on for you, you know. So the fact that even a DJ, if they see somebody from Philly, that's the song that they go to first and foremost, is a testament to the pride from that. And then again, the album, you know, One Step Beyond is on there. On Trey, my brain is slipping. What's that song?
Which one?
With One Step on Many Faces.
Stars in the East.
Stars in the East.
Oh,
listen to Stars in the East. Listen to that group. One Step Beyond was, that's one of them. I have no idea how these niggas did not get a deal. Like this, and just on some real shit, Howard, Morgan, and I'm sure there's many other HBCUs from 91 to 95. There's so many groups that should have been signed. There's a lot of niggas who didn't need to be signed, but there was a lot of people who really should have had that deal at that time. So again, the sense of pride of that Many Faces thing was like, I remember buying it and it was like, this shit is dope. You know what I mean? So Trey, perfect. You came in just on time right there for that.
That is crazy. The timing is impeccable, man. I definitely appreciate, you know what I'm saying, the accolades. I appreciate the appreciation, you know what I mean? Because as an MC, you know, cats can say what they want. You know, we got vibratos and all that other stuff. And we act like, at least some of it, or at least this is how it used to be. We were, macho, but now, it's a little different now. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't macho no more. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Niggas is sitting courtside at the game, standing up the whole time, gritting on players. That's what they doing now. They just standing up for a whole 2-hour game. Like, nigga, I'm looking at you, nigga. That's what they do now.
But nah, at the end of the day, and Vegas, you could attest to this, man. MCs, we like to be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? We can talk all the shit, we want about, we don't give a fuck what this person, that person say that. But at the end of the day, artists, we like to be appreciated, man. You know what I'm saying? We do it for ourselves, but we definitely want, the people that we're servicing to also love it as well. So, Kill, I really, really appreciate it, especially home team love. There's nothing like home team love. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely appreciate it.
And again, the cherry on top of all of this is this nigga going back and forth with Big. Yeah. Like we could mic drop it right there. You know what I mean? And not only that, I think some people don't understand, like, as MCs, and I'm sure Trey and Vega will test this, a lot of times, depending on who you're on the track with, you bring your A game. Oh, you know what I mean? Jay Electronica's last album, a lot of people say, like, yo, that's Jay-Z's last time. Not like he really sounded incredible. He had to bring his A game. Like, this is Jay Electronica. This is what many people, I know people who call Jay Electronica a GOAT. I'm like, God damn, nigga ain't even had a solo album out. But you knew you had to bring your A game. The bars that Big brought for Keep Your Hands High was crazy. You know what I mean? That whole me and C's to the advance brought, the bronze, like, that whole shit right there, Big brought his A game for that joint. You know what I mean? So to me, that's a testament of respect he had for you.
Well, you know, true story and something that a lot of people don't know is that Big had been listening to me for about a year before I even got signed. So you talking about Big, I got signed in April of 96. Big probably started listening to me about April of 95. So he had already, because it was a situation where Mark had to make some decisions.
Now, who's Mark? Who's Mark?
Mark Pitts is the head of Boston. You know what I'm saying? So when he got his situation with Universal, Mark also is an understudy of Puff. You know what I mean? I know that's a taboo name right now, but yeah, he's an understudy of Puff. He manages Big. And so when Mark was in the, you know, process of getting his deal and getting himself situated, you know, he had to make some decisions. And so D-Dot is the one that brought me to the table. But then along with D-Dot's cosign, Mark was also looking for Big's cosign in order to sign me. So let me say, maybe not a year, let's just say about 9 months before I actually got signed. It was a process. So I would send Mark demos. And while Mark is listening to demos, trying to make a decision, Big is in the car listening with him, with every demo that I'm sending. So he is a part of the process, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So he's also listening, you know, when he agrees to do the record, you know, he's also making sure that, you know, if I get on this, because, you know, Big didn't feature with everybody, you know what I'm saying? So he's trying to make sure if I get on the record with Bull, because and the budget is not that crazy. Like, he's not getting Shaq feature money, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it's like, if I'm gonna get on the record with him, I gotta know that he's up to snuff, you know what I'm saying? And so him listening to me for almost a year, he figured it out, and I guess that's when he's like, okay, if I'm gonna jump on here, I already know what he's coming with, so I need to do what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, for those people that are always debating whether, you know, I got washed and all this other shit, that's cool, whatever. Opinions are opinions. But for you to even think that I got washed by Big, understanding the bars that Big came with, he got nudged in that direction. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna just come with this shit. He knew he had to come with that shit. So,
right. I feel you. For somebody watching, I've heard MCs, and I'm like, he don't really fuck with you. Like, I heard that verse, and that verse is that's not X, Y, and Z's level. Like, I don't really think he wanted to do that verse. You know what I mean? Because I know what he's capable of, and that nigga ain't really bringing. You know what I mean? So, because there are some times I'm like, oh, those two gonna be on the track together. Oh, this gonna be crazy. I'm here, and I'm like, yeah, he don't fuck with you. Like, yeah, I can tell, nigga. Niggas like, how you can tell? I'm like, listen, like, let me let you hear what he did on such and such's album. Yeah. Now let me let you hear what he did on that album. Yeah, he's not there. So again, Trey, just wanted to give you your love, man, because you definitely gave Philly, you know, and that's why I said an Philadelphia legend, because niggas in Philly were super proud of that song. And again, I'm just privy to know the backstory of L Rock. You know what I mean? But once you just start coming with the theme, I mean, that's a song that's, to me, that's one of them songs that's always going to get played. Like, I think that's one of them songs that is going to be being played, you know, when the end of the world is still here. That's definitely on one of the playlists that people still going to be playing.
A lot of people don't get one, so I'm blessed.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to get one. It's
right.
You have no idea. It's hard, so I'm just blessed for that.
Yeah, no doubt. Give us some of yours real quick. Like, who are two people, hometown pride for you from being from Philly?
Well, since we in this realm, man, you know, shortly after I dropped, you know what I'm saying, maybe about a year or two later, here come a gang of cats from Philly that made me super proud, stay proud, man. Mm-hmm. Like, I, you know, a lot of times, you know, like me being from, you know, being an OG, it's like there was always in hip hop this thing between New York and Philly, you know, from back when Lady B and Cool Breeze and all that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, MC Breeze, I said Cool Breeze, MC Breeze and, you know, all of that back then, even with the DJs. Like, you know, of course, New York gave us our, you know, proper due with the DJs. But it seemed like from an MC perspective, we never really, you know, got our, you know, got what I always knew we had, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, to be honest, we was looking for the cosign from New York. You know what I'm saying? Until it got to the point where we felt like we were being disrespected as little brother. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, that had gone on for years. So when, you know, you get a sprinkle of Will and you get a sprinkle of, you know what I mean, EST, and you get a sprinkle of, you know, cats here and there, you know what I mean? It's cool. But State Prop brought a whole fucking wave and movement that was insurmountable. It was like a tsunami that just could not be denied. I mean, it got to the point where, you know, I'm listening to even with Big, kind of semi, he would kind of Philly a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's where he got the, you know what I mean, when he's writing lyrics and all of that. That's straight Philly shit. Like, that's him fucking with Charlie Baltimore and coming to Philly a lot and getting into the link. But Jay really got into the culture. Jay got into the culture so hard, he started putting stores and shit in Philly. You know what I mean? And he couldn't help it because these cats, it just brought a whole new culture to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got niggas, you know, rhyming like them. You got people with the lingo. You got, you know, the whole aura and all that. Like, and I'm just sitting back like, damn. But like, I felt like finally we get our just due, not just from a coastal perspective, but from a worldwide perspective. You know what I'm saying? And and real quick, funny story is, me and Beans, like, during the pandemic, I'm on the Clubhouse joint, and Beans is in there, and we talking about, you know, shit, Philly shit and all that. He stopped and he said, "Yo, Trey, listen, man, I gotta be honest with you. I never liked you, bro." I said, "Why?" I said, "What the fuck did I do?" He was like, "Yo, man, you know, when I was back home and shit before we got on, you know, Big is my hero. Like, and he's like, one day I'm gonna meet that nigga and I'm gonna do a song with Big. I'm gonna be the first Philly nigga to do a song with Big." So then he said, "But, you know, as I'm got this dream, my mans come to me and say, 'Yo, this is boy from Philly that got a song with Big.'" And he was like, "No, the fuck you don't. Ain't nobody got no song with Big. I'm gonna be the first nigga with a song with Big. Fuck you talking about?" You know what I mean? So he was in denial, and he finally heard it. And he was like, "Man, this shit is all right, man. Fuck that
Yeah, bro. I mean,
So I after that, you know, after he said that, I said, "Yo, man, I love you." But he's like, "No, but I love you, Trey. I just felt like I had to." I said, "Listen, you have no idea how proud y'all niggas made me. Like, you, I can't even, I could tell you this, but I'm just telling you, you know, at that time and even now, like, y'all bust this shit wide open, man. And I salute you for that. So yeah, stay proud all day, man. All of them."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the crazy thing, I mean, I always tell boys, like, I remember I went to Morgan in 92 to 96. And by the time I graduated, it was funny because people were like, "Yo, I'm moving to Philly to try to get on." And it was crazy because when I went, it was like you had to go to New York to get on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to see that everything, and we're going to talk about it later, just like the influx. Once you get to 2000, I felt like the whole floodgates for Philly just opened. You know what I mean? And a lot of that has to go towards somebody I'm going to bring up next. Vern, who you got up next to represent ATL, bro? Organized Noise.
Woo!
Hey, man. So to tie in what y'all were just talking about, I love listening to Rico Wade speak on podcasts. God rest his soul, man. Mm-hmm. And man, when Rico passed, bro, I cried for 2 days, dude, because for several reasons. But Rico said he was on Combat Jack. That's where I heard him say this. He said, you know, for so long, like, we tried to be like New Yorkish. And when we put out PA with KP, Parental Advisory, it did all right. But Rico and them came back to the crib and was like, "Yo, we can't be New York. We're gonna be us." And my next group is gonna be who us really became. But man, Organized Noise, Rico Wade, Ray Murray, Sleepy Brown.
Brown.
Hey man, we ride for Organized Noise because they put us on the map. I talked about Dallas. He did from an R&B perspective, but for hip hop, Organized Noise, man. Because when you listen to their production, you hear the Wurlitzer and the Hammond B5 organs and that just stank Southern just funk, man. And I mean it means something, man. And they made us stick out our chests. I remember when we were trying to get on, and some girl from somewhere like, why y'all? Nobody know nothing about no Old National. It's like, okay, so Snoop can talk about their place and Brooklyn can talk about their place. Why can't we talk about our place? Well, thank you, Organized Noise. Now the world knows about Old Nat and the SWATs and the Briar and all that, man. So the thing about it is, we was always like brushed off all them little country niggas, man, them little yokels or whatever. But when Organized comes out, you can't dismiss them because their production is otherworldly dope. And so you can't deny from that. So if you don't like it, it's okay not to like it, but if you hating on it, you just a hater. and that's what it is, man. You know, Organized has their hands in TLC's biggest hit. And like I told you about Atlanta, Dallas Austin, production, he's from College Park, I would say. Rico and them from SWATs, so Southwest Atlanta. But they all came together. That's how we were in the old Atlanta. Like, if I got some meat and you got bread, we got a sandwich. You know, it was all a collective type movement, man. And that's all thanks to them, man. I mean, Kill, you're a producer. Can you imagine how difficult it is for 3 people to produce a cohesive song?
Nah, bro, I can't. I mean, I'm one of the people who I've never worked with anybody else. You know what I mean? And that's just my arrogance of just, you know, I don't want nobody else programming my drums. But I think the dope thing about Organized Noise is from seeing a documentary. And number 2, we need to do some shit with Netflix to get that documentary back up. I don't know why it was taken down or whatever like that, but that documentary needs to be back up on Netflix. I remember staying up till midnight the day it was supposed to drop because I couldn't wait to see that, you know. But I think with them, it's just playing their parts. And you see in that documentary, kind of like Rico was the quarterback. You know, maybe he ain't in the studio all the time, but he's quarterbacking the things. Maybe Ray is the one who's doing a lot of drum programming, and then Sleepy kind of comes in and being able to play those positions like that. You know what I'm saying? And even Rico's sharing in a documentary on how that kind of became the downfall. Because now I got this label and I'm running around and I'm not in the studio all the time, you know, or like the Bomb Squad. Most production crews don't all work together. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's kind of playing their part. Organized, I mean, is one of the greatest production crews, I think, in the history of music. Not just hip hop, because you're talking about TLC's hit. You're also talking about bringing En Vogue back from the dead.
Oh, from the dead. Resurrections, defibrillators.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the hardest En Vogue songs ever. You know, what is it? Don't oh God, my brain said it all. Don't let go. Don't let go. Like, that's a hard ass song, man. You know, that's not your regular laid back R&B. And then especially for En Vogue to be over there. And I think and I always say this, I think Organized did what the Roots wanted to do, which was integrate live musicianship with boom bap. And I think Organized did that much better than what the Roots were doing on Do You Want More? Because when I heard Players Anthem, when I heard Southern Playalistic Cadillac music, it was just like, yo, this just the bass lines, just the Preston Crump, who's the bass player. Like,
Preston Crump.
There's so many names in those liner notes of just bringing that together and just making just some incredible music. So yeah, Organized, I got nothing but love, respect, and admiration for what they were able to do. Because like me and Trey, so much of what you said is what I had said earlier, and it's great to just hear it again. You know, that I think every place, I know niggas from Jersey, every place was like trying to prove themselves to New York, like to get that respect. Every place that was in New York was trying to get that respect from New York. And Atlanta proudly had to be hard, one of the hardest. You know what I mean? So to be able to say like, yo, they were a part of that, I mean, it's huge. I'm praying the new Atlanta, because everybody I know from Atlanta talks about the old Atlanta, I'm hoping the new Atlanta can keep that history. I mean, the old Atlanta can keep that history alive for the new Atlanta. Because there was, now it's like, oh, Atlanta's the shit. They don't understand there was a time when it wasn't. And Dallas, TLC, Organized Noise played a huge part in that.
I mean, again, connecting dots. T-Boz worked at Lamonte's, where Rico Wade worked. And then my next group came to Lamonte's to rap for Rico.
Now you gotta school us. What's Lamonte's?
A beauty supply place or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's man, Atlanta was, man, I really missed the old Atlanta, man. It was. I talked to Joy via Twitter. I was like, Joy, you remind me of the old Atlanta. Joy was Gibbs' wife, and Wild Peach, and it's like during those times, hey man, I got this girl, she could sing, and she'd come in the studio and do her part and do that kind of stuff. It's like, because everybody's trying to get on. I mean, okay, my next group did this. I mean, Organized helped us to make everybody realize if one of us get on, everybody gonna get on. So everybody made them selfless. So a Goody Mob would give up or get out because Outkast was out, and you could spit on it, but this is Outkast. But Outkast's vehicle is gonna bring you in. You just got to be patient for it, you know. So that's, man, Rico Wade. If he went to a Ivy League school, he could have been a diplomat, man. The way he organized people and won people over and convinced them that what I'm selling you is for the greater good. I mean, L.A. Reid talks about him all the time. Like, I ain't know nothing about no hip hop, but Pebble told me about Rico, who told me about them and told me about them or whatever. And another point that Rico made on the Art of Organized Noise is TLC was Dallas group, but when they did Waterfalls, because it wasn't that tribalism or whatever, Dallas was like, all right, I'm cool with that, because you knew Tion before anyway. So it all came together, man, and made Atlanta what it is right now. So hats off to Organized Noise.
No doubt. Shout out to Joy, two of my favorite songs, Lit with Sleepy Brown and Oh Ho Hum. If y'all don't know, check out them two joints. Joy is an amazing talent that people don't talk about.
I'm so famous. I love that joint by Joy. Yeah,
Joy is dope. Vay, what you got up for New York, man?
All right, I got a song now, and it speaks to what we were talking about earlier about the boroughs within New York. Even though I was a young guy at the time, it seemed like there was a moment in 80s hip hop where certain boroughs had anthems. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was the Bridge, there was South Bronx. And I used to be like, damn, because I'm a little guy, like, damn, we ain't got one, because, my family is in Queens and all they do is talk shit. So I'm like, damn, we ain't got one. Until Audio 2 Top Billing. When that shit came out, I was in Queensbridge, like, that nigga talking about what's the hit song now? Like, you know what I'm saying? That was probably my first hip hop related like borough moment of being proud. Mainly because it was like, yo, it's somebody from Brooklyn. They sampling another Brooklyn song from early on in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The beat is infectious because it's simple. but it's catchy. You know what I'm saying? And obviously throughout the years it's been sampled over and over and over, whether it's his lyrics or the beat or whatever. But at that point in time, it was like, oh yeah, we got our anthem. Like I could be in a conversation when they start arguing about boroughs and the bridge in South Bronx. I could be like, yeah, top billing, you know, Brooklyn, y'all know what it is. So yeah, that was definitely. I was like doing this shit. People don't understand. I was just doing this shit when I was like little. Like I was asking for dubs of shit when I was like 5 and shit. Like, can you make me a copy of that? I've been into the hip hop scene, you know, shit like that. I always wondered, like, damn, we need an anthem until we got one. So
nice.
Yeah, that's dope. Top billing, bro. I can't say enough about that joint right there. You know what I mean? I remember niggas, I'd be in Philly and it'd be like, yo, what the fuck you mean, bed do or die? I'm like, nigga, that's Bed-Stuy, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? Just spending my summers in Brooklyn, it was just like, yo. And I think the craziest thing about top billing is the thing that Skills brought the light on social media. Because for years I thought Milk was saying, you know, suckers that's down with me. You know, and it was like, why are you talking about suckers that's down with me? And it's like, no, suckers that's down with neither one of us. That's how I feel. And I was like, yo, neither one of us. That's what he been saying for years. Because I always was like, yo, why this nigga want to be down with some suckers, man? Like, so top billing. I mean, I think one of the, I think we did a show about, you know, gun to head. If you had to rhyme a whole song, what would you go for? And top billing was one of mine. You know what I mean? Because you know, it's definitely now at 50. I don't know. We may just have to die. But you know, my 40s, top billing was easy. Like I'm spitting everything. Like I know every word to that song. JR, who you got up next, bro?
On mine, okay. I'm gonna go with Stephanie Mills, being from Bed-Stuy.
You know what I love? This is the thing, and it's always when people talk about the difference between hip hop and R&B. I have no idea where R&B people are from. Like none, like zero. I had no idea Stephanie Mills was from Brooklyn. I had no idea Rashawn Patterson was from the Bronx. Like I feel like with R&B people, I got no idea. Now next you're gonna tell me People Bryson is from like Compton. Like I got no idea. I just keep thinking these. Okay, I be thinking these love ballad boys gotta be from the suburbs. Like nigga from Watts. Like really? Like wow, I had no idea Tony Terry was a blood. Like you don't get that type stuff. So I had no idea Stephanie Mills was from Brooklyn, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, she always rep it. She just kind of reminds me of like now my mother's older. She reminds me of her. Like they have that New York, that Brooklyn kind of like female from Brooklyn for real. Like Stephanie talks her shit and don't give a damn. You know what I mean? And she's been like that since the beginning. And I don't think Stephanie gets her stripes the way she should. To be honest, she really, really does not. And it's kind of annoying. It's kind of like they leave her out for real. And I'm like, nah, yo, you can't talk about R&B without talking about her. You know what I mean? Especially a lot of careers was built on the song Home. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of people did that and it was her record. So it's like, you can't like leave. That's why I was glad that Soul Train, the Black Music Honors finally gave her one as a soul legend. It was like finally somebody give her something because she's deserving of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, Stephanie. And then she always, any interview she do, she's always saying, "I'm from Bed-Stuy, do or die." That's just how she starts it, and she starts it like that. So she gives the Brooklyn vibe. So definitely got to represent for Stephanie Mills for real.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like Stephanie Mills is like the unofficial before Mary J. Blige hip hop soul, only because of that one blend.
Something in the way you make me feel.
Yeah,
DJ did. That shit was like, this is not the beat to the song because it sounds like it is.
Right.
You know
Right. Yo, that's a dope point, bro. Because that was it. I want to say that was the first Ron G mixtape I heard on Morgan Campus was Stephanie Mills, Something in the Way You Make Me Feel, either over Impeach the President. And my mind was just blown like, yo.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to my man Cool DJ Frank in Philly, like, yo, listen to this shit, man. And niggas was like, oh shit, this crazy. Like, yeah. So that's a great call, man. I think with Steph, Yeah, I think one of the things, and I'm sorry you missed the Hall of Fame show that we started last week, but we only got through like 2 people, so we got to finish it up. But I think we just have to check the boxes for people to understand why this person gets the respect that we give them. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times that's our job as the OGs, is we have to do that, because just saying, yo, y'all should listen to Stephanie ain't enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like what she did for The Wiz, just on Broadway, like that alone, and then when she got shafted and didn't even get The Wiz the movie, you know what I mean? And then you start going into those 80s hits like that, the stuff with Teddy P and, The Secret Late, like there's so much stuff that Stephanie did, but I feel like we kind of got to lay that out and kind of present it to people. Like this is the argument for why they should be in. And then once people start seeing the argument and the facts of it, then you kind of get through it like that. But I think it's kind of like everything is like a feeling, and it's even from the marriage coaching I do. So many marriages like, oh, I feel this way, I feel that way. But what are the facts? You know what I mean? And then once you start to present the facts to people, it's just like, nah, like that's not it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we have to kind of do with music, because there's a feeling behind it. It's why people are up in arms over the last week's show, because people are like, yo, Master Ace got to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, he's not checking the two classic boxes for me. You know what I mean? Oh, well, this was an underground banger. Nigga, I don't feel like doing GED tonight. Underground banger is not classic album. And niggas be like, oh, but it's an amazing album. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. A Woman Married You, motherfuckers. Okay, amazing album is not a classic album. Like, I'm not, and again, but what it is because it feels like Ace should be in the Hall of Fame, and that's great. But I always tell people, you got to show me the fact. Right. You know what I mean? Well, I'll give you an example. One year, T was mad about things I did for her birthday. She was like, you didn't put no time and effort in my birthday. I was like, nope, we not doing that. Because I'm here all the facts of what I did. Now, maybe you didn't like what I did for your birthday. That's fine. That's something totally different. But the narrative isn't going to be, I didn't put no time and effort into your birthday. And once you show the facts, then it's like, you can't argue with that. Right. Because it's a feeling behind it. So sometimes people feel like you should be in the Hall of Fame and you shouldn't. And that's not a knock, because I go back to what Vern says all the time. Everybody can't get in. It's just what it is. It's not special. Everybody gets it.
Very good. Or had a joint. No, it's the Hall of Fame.
Right. And then there's sometimes when people feel like, oh, well, why should that person get it? Let me show you the facts. Let me show you what they did. So I feel like that's what, as us OGs, we have to do a better job of being able to present to this younger generation. This is why this person should get in. And it's like, yo, I'm an Ace. And people are like naming songs about Master Ace. And I'm like, yo, I'm a Master Ace. To me, 2 classic songs is a song that more than your fan base knows. Mm-hmm. Like, you're naming me songs that are some of your favorite songs. That's not classic songs to me. Check the Rhyme. You don't gotta like a Tribe Called Quest to know Check the Rhyme. You know what I mean? Or people are like, oh, yo, but Ace got a classic song with the symphony. And I'm like, I swear to God, you GED motherfuckers. It's a Marley Marl song, and he has 1 verse on it, okay? So, again, are you gonna... I've never heard any human being ever say Scenario's Busta Rhymes song. Never. It's a Tribe song. Busta may have lost his mind on that. That may have been Busta's coming out party. It's a Tribe song. So what we're not going to do in the Lord's year 2024 is act like the symphony was Master Ace's song. Right. That's what we're not going to do. Ace kills it too. I think Ace may have the best verse on it. We talk about Kane in rap, but Ace, to set that off, and that nigga didn't even know he was going to be on the song until Shan ain't show up. So again, I just think we have to show people things, because people are like, damn, you don't like Master Ace? I love Master Ace. But that's what the boxes take away. It takes away the bias, because what happens is then we only let the people we like in the Hall of Fame. And the people we don't like don't get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's what baseball writers do. You know, Barry Bonds and then, because he ain't give me no interview. Okay, he was a Hall of Famer before the PED or whatever you want to say. But because y'all didn't like him, that's why, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not the biggest DMX fan, but he in the Hall of Fame. I ain't the biggest Eminem fan, but he in the Hall of Fame. So that's what it is. We got to separate the two, and it's no disrespect. Yo, if you want to say an underground Hall of Fame, Ace is first ballot in there. He's in there. You know, or niggas like, well, he got the longevity. Why don't we just we could forget about the classic albums? I'm like, I'm so glad you motherfuckers aren't teachers, because y'all will be passing any motherfucker who can't read. We got to pass little Ricky because he got good behavior. That's not how we pass kids to the next level. You have to check all the boxes. You can't, and I've seen teachers do it. And they're like, God, but he's so good, Killing. I don't want to keep him back. But sending him to the next grade and the nigga can't read ain't helping him.
Right.
So I get it that he's got the longevity, but at the end of the day, again, bigger picture, and people can't get outside themselves. But that's what I think we have to do for people so that they can understand this is why Stephanie Mills needs to be talked about more.
And that's why I think I'm glad that we have two different hip Hall of Fames. We have the R&B one, and then we have regular. And I think if you're gonna do regular with R&B, Stephanie should be in there for real. Because I think the reason why Stephanie got what she got, and it kind of like stopped, the Whitney syndrome came in. Once Whitney came in, it messed up everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody ended up getting past her, because Stephanie was doing just fine before Whitney came out. And then after Whitney came out, all those other girls kind of got lost in the sauce, and it was all about her. And then, like Stephanie said, I wasn't getting the crossover anymore. They was keeping me in R&B radio. That's all I was getting. I wasn't getting the, you know, they wasn't playing me on pop radio anymore. So it was like, they kept me R&B for real. So that's why I was like, if we're going to do R&B, then yes, I think Stephanie gets in there. But if you want to talk about Hall of Fame and all of that, obviously not. You know what I mean? Because it's maybe two, if you say Stephanie Mills for the mainstream people, it's probably maybe two songs that they know. Never Knew Love Like This. You know what I'm saying? And that and Home. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. And they know that because they probably went to The Wiz on Broadway. It wasn't the movie, because when you think about the movie, you think about Diana. So it's like, it's just messes her up. But I think when you think of her career and really go through the things she had to deal with, it's like, yeah, man, if you want to talk about R&B, she deserves to be there.
So
I got you, Trey.
Again, real quick, JR. So it's interesting that you said when Whitney came in, it kind of messed everybody up. Right. So how do you think? I know it's kind of off base, but how do you think Anita was able to penetrate that?
I'll tell you how.
Situation.
I think the reason why Anita got in there is because, again, who Elektra was behind her, who she had behind her, and and that's why y'all know at a time it was Anita, Janet, Whitney.
Yep.
There was 3 black girls that was able to get through, and each of them were different. Yep. You know what I mean? They wanted Janet was doing
that's why I pointed out Anita specifically, because of the R&B aspect.
Yes. And Anita had more of the jazz, and she was for us. It was very us. Whitney was for them. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was crossover material. Anita, that Rapture album is us. It ain't nothing crossover about that at all. And once that sold, it was like, we gonna keep that doing. So she giving you the best that I got after that. Then she giving you compositions after that. Anita staying consistent. You know what I mean? And then as long as you got that machine behind you, you good. But what about people like Mika Powers? What about people like Vesta Williams? What about Regina Bell? What about all of these other women that were really
Morgan, and all of that,
and wasn't able to get that mainstream success because it was all about Whitney. It was her. That was the focus. So it was all the compares and stuff. So
hey Jay, I think also for Anita, in my mind, another thing that helps her is the black adult contemporary lane. You know,
Quiet Storm.
Yeah, the Quiet Storm. That's what I was going to say. That was like her lane, and it's undeniable because it's not pop, but this is what my mom and my uncles and aunts and them. It was embedded with Anita, so I think that's why she did it.
And now that y'all mention it, and I'm thinking about it, it was also the brand. It was how she looked. It was the cut.
Yeah. She haircut like Anita Baker.
It was the style, and that helped tremendously. She looked like Auntie, like the black woman, the quintessential jet, ebony,
Yep.
cover black woman.
Period.
And not to hold you, her voice. Like, you know,
yeah.
the voice is just, you know, different too. Because again, it goes back to what I've always said. It's only room for one. It's only room for one, man. You know, and I mean, there's only room for one. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of those times, like you said, each one of those were different. You know what I mean? Janet was going to dance. You know, she was going to give you that song. Anita ain't dancing. You know, so we ain't got to worry about that. So, right, that ain't that. And then you got Whitney over here that's pop. So you've got those three distinctive lanes, and then it's just everybody else under them. Which may be a dope show for your R&B reps, JR. Maybe to even
it's already on the books.
Okay. There we go. There we go.
I was gonna say I'm now interested to see like who was behind each. Like if you kind of had Usher, then you're like, oh, Chris Brown, and then you got what's my man's name? Little dance motherfucker, Marion. You know, like you have all these people who are behind Usher, and then you have this artist, and you have all the people that are like behind them to kind of show this is what you have to get through. You know what I mean? So yeah. All right, no doubt. Trey, I think you was up next because Veg, you did top bill and then we went to JR. So Trey, who you got up next?
It's a collective. I'm gonna say, and you probably already mentioned it, but I'm gonna say Philly DJs. I
didn't, but please do.
I mean, you know, and the list is crazy. You got, you know, Spinbad to, you know, Jeff to Cash Money to, you know, Miz to DJ Ran to Kev to Tat Money to, you know what I'm saying, Diamond Cuts. I mean, even now, you know what I'm saying, like and that's where really we stuck our flag in the culture of hip hop. It really started with the Philly DJs, especially us coming up to New York and winning the World Supreme, you know what I'm saying, competitions and all that other stuff. So, you know, anytime in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, when you start talking about hip hop and you mention, I mean, of course, Flash and them, you know, we get it, but Philly kind of took a foothold of that, like from the mid to late 80s. We put a stranglehold on the DJ. Like there was nobody and everybody knew it. It wasn't like, oh no, nah, it wasn't even a debate, really. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh yeah, Philly got the DJs. Y'all got that shit smashed. So, yeah, you know,
that was my honorable mention because like you said, it was so many. I think you named everybody. I had Code Money too, who was Schoolie D's DJ, Cole Housing the joint. But I mean, and again, I think it was just like the evolution of the DJ. You know, again, Flash, everybody in New York, but that mid 80s to mid 90s, that was all Philly. You know, like I tell people,
the Transformer
right.
changed the whole shit.
Yeah, that was on it for people watching. Go cop that first Jeff album, Rock the House, and on the Magnificent Jazzy Jeff, that's the first time he did the Transformer cut. And I've gotten into various debates. People have told me what is his name? Grand Wizard. I forget the name, but Steady B's first DJ before Tap Money on the Bring the Beat Back album supposedly did the Transformer cut first at Central High School. Like niggas had the tape. I think it's on YouTube. Like Central High School, he may have done the Transformer cut first. And again, here's the thing, y'all, and I got into a huge, crazy argument on Twitter about this. Ain't nobody omnipotent. Ain't nobody in every place at the same time. So nobody can be like, who was the first? I don't know who did the Transformer cut first in 1986 in their mama's basement. The only thing I can speak on is the first time it was on wax. That's what I talk about. Right. The first time it was on wax was Jazzy Jeff's The Magnificent and Will is like Transform. And we was like, yo, that's crazy, because at the time the Transformer cartoons was the dopest thing that was out. So, and I tell people on them world tours, it was Jeff. Nobody was fucking with Jeff. Like nobody. Terminator X, Jam Master Jay, Eric B, Polo, name them all. Nobody was fucking with Jeff.
Grandmaster D, none of them. Yeah,
nobody was fucking with Jeff. Nobody was fucking with Cash. And then I do give credit to the West Coast, because I think then the evolution started to shift in the mid 90s when we got the Executioners out of New York and the Invisible Scratch Pickles out of Oakland. And that's when Qbert and them really took that whole turntablism to a whole nother level. But for that moment in time, Philly, yeah, we had the dopest DJs, man. So Yeah, that's definitely a dope joint. The next one I got up, The Roots, Philadelphia Half-Life. You know what I'm saying? That album again, that was when, again, my New York niggas at Morgan, this is 96, and it was just like, yo, that nigga thought nasty. Like, it was no cut cards. It wasn't like, it's almost like, you know how, I understand when female MCs get mad, they're like, yo, why you gotta say MC Lyte was a dope female MC? Why can't she just be a dope MC? You know what I mean? That's kind of how I felt. Boys would be like, oh, he nice for a Philly rapper. It's like, nah, I just wanted to be a dope rapper or a dope MC. And after Philadelphia, that was like, I think when Black Thought really started to get his respect and he was like really rapping. And again, the Roots, I just owe so much to them for everything they've done for the city. I mean, just with Black Lily, everything that's coming out of Philly now is somehow born some way, somehow from something that the Roots did. And then on the R&B side, I'm gonna go with Bilal. I think Bilal just has an amazing. Again, the first album, Firstborn Second, to me is a 5 mic classic. It's an amazing album. You're talking Dre production or Scotch Storch. You're talking Dilla production. You're talking Soulquarians. Amazing. Dre and Vidal on the album. His second album, Love for Sale, got shelved, but trust me when I tell you, it was a 5 mic album too. That album was incredible. God, what is this Bilal album right here? This is Airtight's Revenge, which I think is another great album. So his 3 album run, and not to just talk about, like, Bilal to me is like the R&B's Fab, because people don't realize how many like choruses this man has done for people. I mean, when you think the Pimp a Butterfly, he's all over that. He's on American Gangster. He's all on Commons. You just really have to really do the knowledge on how many guest appearances Bilal has been on, and it will blow your mind. So definitely have always been proud of this boy right here. Very dope singer, very original singer too. Vern, who you got up next, bro?
But before I do that, I got to give Bilal that All Matter with Robert Glasper.
Oh yeah,
listen,
yeah. Woo! Yeah. All right, so Outkast, bro.
Of course.
All right, so I've named Dallas Austin, TLC, Organized Noise, and Outkast. I always tell this story. If you've been listening to the show, you've heard it. Obviously, you're gonna hear it again. So my boys, Chris and Conrad, Bread and Water Production, Platinum Producers, or whatever, they knew Rico from summer school, and we were trying to get our group on. Rico told us to come to the dungeon, so we went to the dungeon. Rico put on our tape. He was like, he didn't know I was the rapper or whatever, but he was like, yeah, the production is dope, man. But you know, your MC, he ain't quite in pocket. I mean, he wasn't lying. I said my rhymes. I didn't, anyway. But Rico we walked down those rickety steps, and Rico had this something on. It was like just crazy. It was like, Rick, who is this? Oh man, that's this little group we working on. Matter of fact, they got a showcase with LA and them this weekend. Y'all need to come through. And I was thinking about this today, because I ran into Big Boy, me and my wife, we were at Phipps a couple of years ago, and I wish I'd have thought about it then. At the showcase, they did this rap, and it was kind of like a from rags to riches type thing, you know, a girl and a boy from the hood that started off rough or whatever. Now they're in college, like Brandy and Trey at Morehouse and Spelman. I wish I would have asked them about that, but anyway, that little group was Outkast, man. And I remember the snippet tape came out during Freaknik, and it just had pieces of all their songs on Southern Playlist. That's why, for me, Southern Playlistic is my favorite album. I know, somebody say coming out, somebody say whatever, but from a standpoint of zero to boom, they're here. That's Southern Playlistics, man. And when I want to feel Atlanta, when it's like a nice day and I'm riding and I got my sunroof open, I put on Southern Playlistics, man. When Dre say Atlanta skies be blue, it just like does something for me, man. those guys with Organized Noise put Atlanta into the stratosphere, man. And again, there's connections to everybody that I already named, because they did a song on the Faces Christmas album. They did some stuff with TLC before they really popped, you know. So it's just dope to watch their growth and their where they are in the hip hop realm. And again, talking about East Point, The Bribe, Swats, Decatur, all that stuff, man, they embody Atlanta dudes. And so here's the thing, Q, you asked me about this before. You've been here, so you know. I'm College Park. You got Southwest Atlanta. You got Decatur niggas. Those are all different kind of niggas, just like a Bronx and a Queens and a Long Island guys are different, but they all encapsulate New York. And so Outkast in dropping the places that they dropped on those songs, it made everybody embrace and love them, man. So Outkast, for a zillion reasons, man, is one to stick my chest out. You remember, Kid, when you were here, we were in Little 5 Points. I took y'all to the Outkast mural, because that's us, bro. Atlanta, Outkast. And what I love about Outkast, more so than like the new wave of Atlanta rappers, is they garnered the respect of Biggie. Because I remember at the Source Awards, Biggie was like, yo, y'all go for it, when people was trying to diss them. Because again, you can't minimize their skill level. You know, don't like them, but you can't say, oh, no, they suck, because then you suck. But so for me, Outkast is my next one.
All right, no doubt. Vague, what you got up for Brooklyn?
All right, this one isn't really a Brooklyn thing. It's more of a personal pride, but tied to New York in a lot of ways, but more so tied to a community. I said this off air, I guess, last week, but when Jay-Z and Nas were going at it, Takeover was out. I heard that third verse. I was like, yo, I think it's over for Nas. Like, I thought it was over. And I remember when Ether came out, and this was back when I had like the old compact computer. It took me like an hour to download Ether, like not the album, just the fucking song. And I remember, I wanted to hear it real quick, so I put the headphones on and I'm just sitting there at the computer and I'm listening. It's a slow build. In the first verse, I'm like, okay, he kind of in pocket. But leading into the second verse, when he said, "Ill will, let's get it, niggas," and I was just like, yeah, we back. Back, it was like the perfect time for him to say, I think he said, "Ill will, rest in peace, let's get it, niggas." To say that, and then to have an incredible, battle, basically, or a song, basically, dissing Jay-Z, where I was just like, I just felt the pride of, as hip hop heads, young together back then, you don't know who's gonna be on or if they're gonna be on. You just beatboxing and breakdancing and debating hip hop, and now here's one of our representatives out here, basically defending what we grew up with, on a personal level, what we grew up with. So when he said that and he wrote my cousin's name, I was just kind of like, I was hyped, even though I'm Brooklyn all the way.
Now that was the thing. That's what I was about to ask, because Jay Brooklyn, you got the Takeover, Nas is Queensbridge, you got Ether. How did you feel being in the middle of that? And what I love about you, Vega, is that I just wonder how you feel about it. Let me say that first. Let me ask.
Yeah, I think. Well, I didn't look at it as a Queens Brooklyn thing, because I was a huge fan of both. Now, if the opponent was Biggie, get them Queens niggas out of here. You know what I'm saying? All of them. Family, all of y'all get out of here. You know what I'm saying? But with Jay, you know, he a lot of what Nas said, and even though I was talking to him at the time, it wasn't like I was feeding him shit or nothing like that. And I probably was talking to him less around the time, but he was saying a lot of the things that we were thinking as fans and people from Brooklyn, like, yo, how this nigga gonna say he better than Big? Like, I ain't like that shit. But then when Nas said, and you got the nerve to say that you better than Big, I was like, fuck this nigga. Like, I was with it, you know what I'm saying? Right. Because I was a bigger Biggie fan than a Jay fan, but I just didn't expect him to say Ill Will rest in peace. Like, this is a diss record. And it just felt like he was digging deep into his hip-hop roots in Queensbridge in the 80s and his crew and when everybody was free and alive, and U's taking that energy to power himself back up. So it was just a triumphant moment to see, you know, happen at the time. And definitely, you know, when it's your family and you kind of feel like he there too when you listen to it, it was just a dope experience from on a personal level, but also just at the hip hop head. So
that's dope. Trey, what you got up for another Philly Pride, man?
It's a sound, brother. It's a sound. When I mention shit like the OJs and the Intruders and Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Talk that shit, Tracy.
And the Jackson 5 even. Or the Jacksons at the time. Or me and Mrs. Jones. When I mention shit like the Spinners, when I mention shit like that, you know what I mean? It's like a warm fucking blanket, man. You know what I mean? It's a sound. It's a sound. It's the sound of Philadelphia, man. It's the sound of Philadelphia. I'm talking about Gamble and Huff and Tom Bell, and it's a sound, my nigga. Like, come on, man. It's undeniable. You can't dispute it. It's, you know, like, you know, next to Motown, nigga, you say the sound, you say TSOP.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I ain't gotta say it's self-explanatory. Like, I ain't really gotta get into the depths of the shit. I just say TSOP and niggas be like, oh, okay. Nigga, it's a sound.
Yeah.
Do I need to explain it anymore? Vern, do you understand what I'm saying to you guys?
Totally. I understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Right. You know,
I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's do this, Trey, because again, we're here to educate. So if you can just touch on maybe for some of our viewers a little bit about the sound of Philadelphia, Gamble and Huff, and just some of the legendary music that's come out of Philadelphia.
I mean, I just really.
I mean, yeah, you named them, but Gamble and Huff being the producers, you know what I mean? Like, and to me, to kind of like for a younger generation, like for even people our age who may not know them, I've always been like, when you think of LaFace Records, what they did for Atlanta, I feel like that was what was going on in Philly with Gamble and Huff. You know what I mean?
You really okay? So I'll just take Jackson 5 for example. Like when Motown, when they got off, when they was in limbo, when Mike's voice started to change and shit, and Motown didn't really they didn't know where to go because they wasn't the kids no more and shit. And they had to develop into a more mature sound, like, you know, and this is remnants of New Edition. You know what I'm saying? When they were in transition and they had to figure this shit out, the Jackson 5 came to Philly, and they gave them a sound that Mike would eventually take and catapult his career into a whole nother direction. So, and then you start talking about cats that's coming from Cleveland like the OJs, because they knew there was it's the instrumentation, it's the orchestra mixed with a little funk, a little rhythm and blues, a little jazz. I mean, it's it's a thing that Gamble Huff, and I can't, again, I got always bring in Tom Bell because he's an intricate part of the whole shit. Like, they introduced a particular sound that came out of the city that could not be captured anywhere else. Like James Brown and them and Parliament couldn't fuck with it. Any other producers that you talk, Motown couldn't really fuck with it because this is a transitional period. You're talking about, post-Vietnam. You talking about pain. You're talking about struggle. You're talking about, love. You know what I'm saying? And this is what Gamble Huff and Tom Bell shoot inside of the city, because this is what the city is saying. You see what I'm saying? And the times. So kids and grown-ups that don't really understand why it sounds the way it does, I'm explaining to you why people gravitated towards our city to fuck with these particular niggas, because they understood what the time called for when it comes to music. And then hence you get the sound of Philadelphia.
Hey, Trey.
Nah, that's good. I'm gonna talk to something after Vern goes.
I got a question. So, Trey, you just woke something up in me, and I hope I'm right. Who produced "Let Me Show You"?
Come on now.
That's Gamble and Huff.
That's the sound. That's the sound.
And so you understand the transition between ABC and I'll Be There and all that stuff. You get to this shit right here.
Yeah.
Farewell, My Summer Love, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sound. It's different now. The Jackson sound different.
It sounds
You
different.
think it sound different?
And if you listen to "Let Me Show You," it's a wall of stuff going on sound wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's that Philly sound. Yeah. So I mean you captured it, Trey, with what you just described. And that's, as soon as you said it, I thought of that song. I'm like, that gotta be doing the Philly area. Yeah.
What you gonna say, babe?
I was going to add real quick, because between Trey and Vern, once they start talking that old school shit, I'm like, oh, word? That's what we doing? Okay, because I love that shit. But yeah, like that Philly sound, I think it's the true essence of soul. Like when you think of soul music, like when you're listening to it, you feel happy. It feels warm. You know what I'm saying? It feels like black people. It feels like black culture. You know what I'm saying? It could be songs about different things, but it's distinctive when you hear the Philly sound. And I remember when I was young, I liked a lot of old school acts and certain people from certain places. And it wasn't until I saw a couple documentaries about Gamble and Huff, and I was like, that's what that shit is. Like, I didn't know how to explain it, but I was like, that's what it is. You're getting a heartbeat of a city at that point in time. Like being in a local club that's local. Like nobody knows about it. The neighborhood goes there, they hang out, they get dressed up. And you kind of get that vibe from it. So I know exactly what you mean when you say that Philly sound.
And it's crazy because just the two things that Trey and Beg just said, like when you said you're coming out of Vietnam, you're talking about pain and you're talking about love. That's so deep to me because you do have so much pain going on because of the political climate of the world right now. You've got so many people who have lost people to Vietnam, but at the end of the day, you still got to be in love. You still have that. So how are you dealing with all three of these emotions at the same time? And similar to what the world is about to go through right now over these next 4 years. It's going to be a lot of shit, but you still got to love through it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the piece that I love because through all this pain, you still got to love. You still got to be in love. You still got to show love. So how do you encapsulate that feeling? And then, Vay, what you said, just the heartbeat of the city. Like, that's it. Because sometimes in life, there is no way to explain it. And it kind of almost transcends into what I was saying about the roots because, prior to 2000, the Philly floodgates just flew open. Now, all of a sudden, everybody wanted to come to Philly. Now, I can't take credit for that sound because the credit of that sound that a lot of people came to Philly to get was the Dilla sound, who I have to give that credit to Dilla, because A Touch of Jazz bit the fuck out of Dilla. You know what I mean? But everybody wanted to come to Philly. Erykah Badu said, I want to go rock with the Roots. When she got her deal, was like, give me a bus ticket to Philly. I want to rock with the Roots. And then you see what happened with Black Lily. And then you see Kindred the Family Soul. You see Jaguar Wright. I understand. Bilal, you know, Jasmine Sullivan. You see all the people that just started coming from Philly. And it was Jill Scott. Jill's next on my list. Jill's next. She's coming in, you know, because what I love about Jill, we're going to get to that. That's the perfect thing.
Hold that.
No, we go right into Jill right now. Let me explain to y'all why I love Jill so fucking much.
Are we done with Gambling Huff?
JR, what do you want? Do you want to tap in?
I mean, y'all done said
JR's looking like a proud dad right now.
Right. Like the whole time I was just smiling because I like Trey. That honestly, you brought in Leon. I mean, you brought in Tom Bell. A lot of people miss Tom Bell. He's like the silent partner of
He's the sniper. He the sniper on the rooftop.
Yes, and people forget about him, and that's why it's like the stuff that he did for the stylistics, the stuff that he did for Delphonics, the things that he did for that. He did all that in Sigma Studios. So a lot of people forget when they did when they became Philly International, thanks to Clyde for giving them the deal.
Right.
He was part of that deal.
Yes.
So it was like, but he was like, look, y'all go do that. I ain't the loud dude. Let me just produce and let me do all that. And y'all go ahead. Y'all want to be the front. Y'all gonna let y'all do it. It kind of reminds, because y'all was talking about bass and all that. Tom Bell really reminds me of a Daryl Simmons.
Yes.
When it comes to L.A. Reid and Babyface, because nobody talks about Daryl, and he's just as much as important as they are.
The Spinners is probably my, I want to say my favorite. Like during that era, probably my favorite group, man. And they had smash
the old days for me. So yeah, I get it.
Smash. They had smashes, not just good records.
Yep.
The Spinners had smashes.
Bro.
They coming after Motown. They left Motown and came to Philly.
Whose voice is more distinctive than Felipe Wynn, man?
Woo!
Listen. Nobody. None.
Now again, some of our viewers are young. They struggle with Run DMC. Y'all gotta explain some things to some folks. So, Vern.
Felipe Wynn was the lead singer of the Spinners. Hey y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band.
Yes.
I'll be whenever you call me. I'll be there.
Should it be I'm falling in love?
And he comes in at the end of that record. Should it be I'm falling in love?
Makes you play, man. Little things, little nuances that he did.
Did Felipe Wynn end up with the Temptations for a minute?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay, I ain't crazy. All right.
Mm-hmm. But again, going back to the Sound of Philadelphia, that's Tom Bell is the backbone behind the sound of the Spinners.
Hey man,
Tom Bell, it's like you might not have heard of the Spinners.
Yeah, but the Spinners is like a group like War to me. Like I know who they are and I've heard of them. But when I went on like iTunes, I'm like, yo, they got joints after joints after joints after joints after joints. I'm like, yo, wow.
Smashes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Classic versus some dope songs. They're two different things. The Spinners got the classics, you know. And for a lot of people, they may just not know, oh, that's the Spinners. You know the songs. You know, but it's just like, oh snap! I didn't know that was the Spinners, because at that time there were so many groups out. You know what I mean? So for somebody who may not know, so I definitely, you know,
I believe they're the only, but beside the Jackson 5, they have the most top 10 hits for a group of all time.
I can see that.
Put that in perspective.
That's
right.
Yeah. Hey, Kill. When
think about it, JR. Look it up.
Yeah, you see, I'm thinking. Wow.
When they did the verses with
Earth, Wind and Fire, honestly.
With Dipset and the
Locks.
I remember I put this on Twitter. The Dipset and the Locks are the difference between a moment in time and timeless.
Yes. I agree.
And
Hey, Vague, you agree with that, Vague? You agree with that?
Or with Dipset and the Locks?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Moment in time, and then there's timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Locks reminded you of that thing.
They sure did.
Yep. And so the Spinners, that music is timeless.
Yes.
I'm just so glad when you talk about this, man. I'm just so glad they left Motown. And Motown, y'all know I love Motown to death, but I'm glad that they left. And Tom Bell was like, let me do something with these. Let me do something with them. It's something with them. Let me do something with them. Mind you, by this time he's with the Delphonics and Stylistic, but he like, the Spinners are like, we're gonna go over to Atlantic. And Tom Bell was like, y'all come over here to Sigma. Let me rock with y'all. And once he did, hits came after hit after hit after hit after hit.
See, you said the stylistic again, going back to the sound. The stylistics encapsulates the sound of Philadelphia. People make the world go round.
Man.
This is R&B life, but go ahead, y'all go ahead.
That's Philly.
Electric music, Deuce and a Quarter music, bro.
Oh, man, it's Philly. Oh, God.
And again, like this is to me, this is the whole point of music, is to make music that people feel. You know, it's to make music that people. I think that's really the blessing when you can say you can't explain it. It's just a feeling. I think that's the most beautiful music because it's like, just put it on. And every, like they just said, it feels warm. Trey, you said it's like a warm blanket. Like that to me is like the whole goal of this is to be able to produce something that can give people a feeling because that's the music you come back to. That's the music you, again, nothing wrong with dancing, nothing wrong with spitting, nothing wrong with any of those things, but to make music that people can come back to and feel. You know what I mean? I think like that's the thing. And I think that's a piece of what we're missing, of being able for people to create music that again can sound great and you want to pull out 20 years from now. You know what I mean? That you want to pull back out. I just saw this thing with Lauren. Now I'm sure it's an old interview. And she's just talking about the miseducation was so great because she had so long to live it. You know, and we've heard that from like Jay. We've heard that about people in their debut album. It's like I had my whole life to write this album, and now the label wants me to go back in and in a year create something as incredible. And Lauren was saying, like, I go to the studio and I record stuff, and I don't know if it's on the level just because I haven't lived enough. You know what I mean? And I think like I remember the first time I heard X Factor, I was like, God damn, this song. Like, you almost feel like from the first time I heard it, I was like, God damn, like that end of X Factor is like, damn, and you hear it for Zion, it's like, God damn, I can't wait to have the kid and feel this sense of pride. Like, and this is me in 97. I'm not thinking about having no kid, but you're hearing it and it's just like, that's what music is supposed to be. And I think that's what, we need to get back to. And I don't know how we get back to that because, we're living in a time where it's just like, let's put out music, album after album. Let's do 8 albums in a year. And, this is impressive. And I'm always like, that shit is not impressive to me. If Westside gonna be like, I made this album in a week. I'm like, yeah, nigga, it sound like you made an album. We ain't gonna be listening to it after this week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that stuff like that
sound like, hurry up this way again. It don't sound like that.
Yeah. And again, it's just when and I think that this is the importance of, I think me and Vegas make such great music together because one, we've known each other for over damn near 30 years. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's because when things just fit and when you can find producers and like you said, like, come over here, let me rock with y'all. You know what I mean? When I think about, we were just in, Virginia Beach, and me, Nay, her homeboy, and we're walking down the street and it's raining, and I'm like, let's sing some songs about rain. And we start singing Can You Stand the Rain, walking down the street, and other people just start jumping in, joining in, like, you know, to sing it. Like, that's a feeling. Like, Can You Stand the Rain came out in 1988. It's 2024.
Right.
And we're walking down the street and people are like singing a song with us. That's the testament. You know what I mean? And I think that's the thing, like, we're not gonna have 20 years from now. You know what I mean? With this music, at least. We'll still be playing old stuff. But it's, you know, I just really wish people would take that time to be able to dig deep and really take time to make music, you know, because you got to live first, and then I think you make the music. So, you know,
some soul in it, man. It's soulless, and that's why it's not timeless.
Yeah. Last person I got up is Beans. The fact that Beans, what's up?
I thought you was gonna do Jill.
I'm gonna go. Oh, you're right. I'll go to Joe first, then go Beans. Jill. The reason why I love Jill.
Thank you, Trey. Keep it on for a second.
First song is about rumbling the joint. I said, is this about to rumble somebody? Like, this is R&B. Like, yo, this chick is like you getting in the way. Like, and yo, Trey, you know the video. That's North Philly. Like, you know them houses, you know them porches, and it's like, yo,
that's all her block.
Yeah, it's like, yo, I'm taking off my earrings. Like, yo, we not even about to play this game, yo. And to me, that's Philly. And it's like, this joint is on some Peace People, Howard University, like, but yo, I'ma still take these earrings off and you can get this, we gonna rumble. Like, you know what I mean? And then to come back with Long Walk, like, that joint was just, the first time I heard that, it was just like, yo, what are you even talking about right now? Like, we could listen to the Roots and maybe Eastern Patch, or maybe like just, it was just like, yo, this is just like when Trey talks about beautiful music, it's just like Long Walk, and then you come back with like He Loves Me. It's like, yo, you play. Now you just right now. You know what I mean?
That debut period.
That album, man. That album.
Just that debut period. Like,
well, you can skip me, Kill, because that was mine coming up. Because I have a really personal relationship with Jill. Like, I've known Jill since I was 13 years old. We used to go by the crib. You know what I'm saying? She lived right behind Dobbins. You know what I mean? And so we used to cut class. Like, I went to Girard. We used to hop the wall, go to her crib and shit, and her mom and all that. And like, my man or my cousin used to rock with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, as teenagers, but you know, when you see her, and she used to come up to, like, we had this thing called Founders Day. You know what I'm saying? Which is like a homecoming every year for our it's a boarding school I went to. And she used to come to our, you know what I'm saying, to our Founders Days, like we that tight. You know what I'm saying? So when she, you know, and I knew she did poetry, but I never knew that she sang. You know what I'm saying? All of them years, I never knew. And then she pops out. First of all, I heard remnants that she was in the studio and stuff like that, and the relationship with Eric Roberson, which is all coming full circle because of the house situation. And she pops out there with this incredible album. I gotta stick my chest out. You know what I'm saying? Because I've known you since you were a little girl, and I'm still surprised because you pop out with this incredible, like, mind-blowing piece of work. You know what I'm saying? And the extra pride comes from because I know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but go ahead, Kill.
Nah, I mean, just looking at the intro, I mean, do you remember, you know, exclusively, just the story, you know, like of that, like Getting in the Way, A Long Walk, I think it's better, He Loves Me, It's Love. Like, I don't think people understand how much love Jill gets in DC just for that.
Go, man.
Jill Scott, I mean, DC may love Jill Scott more than Philly loves Jill Scott. And
that's why she did the experience in DC.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jill will sell out 4 shows in DC easy. Like, I mean, It's Love, The Way, Honey Molasses, Love Rain, the remix to Love Rain, Slowly Surely, Watching Me, Brother, Show Me, Love Rain with Mos Def. I mean, it's just amazing what Jill does. I mean, the songs, I mean, Hate Me Now, Living My Life Like It's Golden. I mean, it's just like she has the anthem. She has that. And I mean, like I said, I loved it because it was like, it was Philly. You know what I mean? What's up, Vern?
Every black man, every week, put on Brother.
Ooh.
You're going to need what she's saying to you in that song.
Ooh.
to pull you through some things. Brother,
Ooh.
don't let nobody hold you back. My personal story about Jill, my first family vacation with my wife and my two daughters, we drove my wife's Ford Explorer to Chattanooga to the aquarium. Bruh, we was broke as a joke. We stayed in a motel room so close to the highway that when the trucks drove past, it shook the room. But Who Is Jill Scott was the tape that we listened to, on the way there, man. So, man, that feeling, bro, it killed. Had you ever heard of an R&B singer flipping like she was on Maybe We Could Roll a Tree and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? I never heard no singer do that.
Nope. I mean, Long Walk, I mean, it blew me away. I mean, the whole album blew me away because it was nothing like it before. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just everything that she did was just like, even the go-go stuff. It was like, I ain't never heard no R&B person do go-go like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like, Jill was just different. And to me, she still is different. She's just, she's an artist. You know what I mean? She's in that D'Angelo vein. She's in that Lauren vein. She's in that 3000 vein. You know, where, you know, the music comes when it comes, and you know, she still made she's still making amazing music. You know what I mean? So, you know, definitely Jill.
She's a phenomenal actress. You know,
the story that she did with Nika Noni Rose, the African
the African detective on HBO.
Yes, dope.
Yeah. Jill's got it all, man. She's got it all. And you know, Jill is Jill. And then number one for hip hop, we got Beans, man. Like, the pride I had when Beans is that whole Jadakiss back and forth was just like so prideful with me, because it was like Beans to me represented what Philly was. You know what I mean? The Broad Street bully. It was like them going back and forth. I mean, Beans has been on a lot of songs with Jay, and I could say maybe 80% of the time he's got Jay a couple of times. You know what I'm saying?
Not just a couple.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple. He got him on the majority of it, honestly.
Yeah. So again, I just think for people who say Jay's the GOAT, to say that he was on it, I mean, I just think Beans was just effortless with it. You know, and again, the Philly problems of just not being able to stay out the streets, you know, getting to jail, getting shot, losing his voice. Like, you know, we did an episode of like top 5 MCs that jail fucked up their career, and for most of mine was like Philly. You know, Philly niggas, like outside Slick Rick, it was like Cassidy, Beans, Petey. Like, it just kind of goes down the line. But yeah, so Beans was like, it was dope to finally see like somebody from Philly going back and forth with a lot of people who believe was like one of the dopest MCs out in New York, who I believe is one of the dopest MCs spitting wise out in New York, and Kiss, you know. And I love that. I love the fact that that's one of those battles where some people say Kiss won, some people say Beans won. I don't think it's a right or wrong answer, you know. And then it's just great to see them all come back together now, and Beans got his food truck and Kiss comes through the food truck. I love being able to see these two dudes who was probably behind closed doors about to probably try to kill each other. You know what I mean? On some real shit, you know, be able to piece everything up, and like Vague said, from the Nas and Jay standpoint, to be able to see that love right now, you know, to hear Jadakiss on the new Freeway album, you know, and that would have been able to be said years ago. So that was my last one. JR, what you got up for your last joint, fam?
Oh, come on. Y'all know who it is and who we ended this with. The Queen, for sure, Mary J. Blige. I'm just going to say, for real, like, she came out at a time where the other girls wasn't looking like her. Nothing. They weren't dressing like her. They were dressing in them gowns and all that. Couldn't relate to them chicks, like, at all. Mary came out with, you know what I'm saying, with the hat to the back, baseball jersey, you know what I'm saying, jabos, and singing off of hip hop. I mean, for, you know, bloops, it was just different. And for my house, it was pride for me, because now I had an artist where my mom and dad can rock to. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, finally, I can be like, cool, mom and dad don't gotta fight over the radio. They can play What's the 411 and it's cool. You know what I mean? So, and then her being from Yonkers, and it was just New York pride. So it was just like, from that moment, and then Mary just kept going, and now she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So the pride is good over here. So I gotta throw it to Mary for sure.
I mean, what can you say? The GOAT. You know what I mean? Queen of hip hop soul. Like, you know, just that's all you can say about Mary, man. Burn, what you got for your last joint, bro?
I'm gonna do this label because it ties in the other people that I talked about and the last person I was gonna talk about. LaFace Records legitimized and made Atlanta a mainstream music town. I mean, before we had Ichiban Records and you know, little pieces. Yeah, man, we almost signed a deal with them. I would have signed over the life of my grandson if we signed that deal. But anyway, so LaFace, Outkast, TLC, you know, Goody Mob, Donell Jones, Tony Braxton, John B. You know, it's just crazy, man. And like I said, the word that I would say is they legitimized Atlanta as a music scene and made us kind of like a Black Hollywood in a sense. To the city's detriment in a lot of ways, because we lost the old Atlanta and it became more of a Hollywood. It's the reason I hate going to Buckhead now, because it ain't the same. It ain't the same spirit. But anyway, at that time, it was a great thing for our city. And so that's off to L.A. Reid and Babyface, LaFace Records.
My man Doc, who's been on the show before, a lot of people have asked me like, yo, Kill, why do you think B-More or DC never really blew up music-wise? And I've always said they don't have an anchor. Mm-hmm. And to me, the anchor is that label, like LaFace, like you just said, that was the anchor. You know, it's almost like that movie, Field of Dreams, I think it is, like Build It and They Will Come.
Build It, They Will Come, yeah.
Like that, I mean, when I moved to Atlanta, it was like, at the time, my girl was like, well, I'm going back to Clark, and it's like, well, you doing the beats, like, come down here and try to get on. Like, it was like LaFace, like, I'm going to try to, you know, get on with that. So it's almost like on some Wiz shit, like, I'm going to see the Wiz. And I feel like B-More and DC just has never had that. They've never had, like, there's a record label here, like, I'm not even gonna do the whole thing. If Bad Boy Records would have been out of DC, I think we'd be talking about DC entirely different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because if Bad Boy in '93 started in DC and Big and Craig Mack and everything coming out of Bad Boy was coming out of DC, and people from New York would come to DC and all these things happen, it would be different. You know, but I just feel like DC and B-More never had that. There was nobody ever saying, like, I mean, think about it. When you're an actor, what do you say? I'm going to Hollywood.
Hollywood, yeah.
You know, or if you want to do Broadway, I'm going to New York. You know, I want to get, you know what I mean? So I think you got to have that. I just feel like Philly, eventually what happened was we got a touch of jazz. So then you had Floetry coming from London to come over here. You had Glenn Lewis, who's coming from Toronto, to come down here, and they go into a touch of jazz. They have some place to go to. You know what I mean? And then with the MCs, it just was like, okay, it just became the end thing. The same thing with white boy MCs. Remember when everybody had a white boy? Timbaland had Bubba Sparks, and you know, it was just kind of like, we got to get a white boy, you know? Same thing with Philly. Like Swiss, oh, I got a Philly MC. Jay, like, oh, you got one? I got 5. Like, it just became the thing to just come to Philly and just rack up MCs. But as far as the music, I feel like you got to have something to come to. And that, to me, is what LaFace was. You know, and of course, you had Rowdy and there were other labels. You had So Def. But LaFace was it. It was like, I'm coming to, I wasn't going to Atlanta to get on with So Def. I was going on to try to get on with LaFace or with Rowdy. So nothing but respect for what they did with that. Veg, what you got for your last one, bro?
All right, my last one is definitely a borough thing, a Brooklyn thing, and a moment around this time. I was in Baltimore, attended Morgan when Biggie was killed, and I remember, hearing there like, yo, after the funeral, they're gonna drive his casket through the neighborhood, and I was kind of tight because I was like, damn, I wish I was there. When they played "Hypnotize" out of whoever's window, and the whole crowd went crazy, I was like, that's some Brooklyn shit. You know what I'm saying? Because just the simple fact of the person thinking to even play it when a casket's riding through, right? That loud. But it's like, fuck it. And nobody had the signal. Everybody danced now. Everybody get excited. Everybody knew in unison, let's celebrate them. Yeah, we sad, but let's celebrate them. So when I saw that video, I remember my brother, he probably gonna kill me because he probably wanted to be disguised as, like, oh, nah, I was that. No, you wasn't, nigga. I remember he was like, yeah, it's playing music. And I was like, oh, you don't understand who Biggie was to Brooklyn. I was like, it was the reason why everybody was out there. It was the reason why it resonated like that so much that it affected his moms to say, wow, I knew my son was a rap star, but I see his impact on people. I see how much they loved him and how much Brooklyn loved him. So when I saw that, being not in Brooklyn at the time, being away from home, wanting to kind of go to that, like a sense of pride just came over me. And then, it's plenty of times we was in the DC clubs, we was supposed to get fucked up. I ain't gonna lie. I remember when Funkmaster Flex, like maybe that week or the week after, was playing, he's DJing at Love. And if you was a DJ in the know, when Biggie died, when Hypnotize came on, you don't let the song play. You play the beginning like 16 fucking times in a row.
Yep.
Just the
Yeah.
I remember going crazy. I remember one dude, he was like, God damn, what you do? Like, dog, it was happening right now. Flexing it 16 times in a row. We gonna go crazy like it's the first time. So I think it was just an unexpected moment with that song and tied to his passing, but just to see Brooklyn go crazy to celebrate his life, that was big pride at that point in times.
That's dope. And Trey, you got anybody else left, bro?
Nah, I told you, that's why I went with you with Jill. That was my last joint. We just summed that up. So Jill Scott, nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, Vern, where can they get at you if they looking for a loan? He's the loan closer. If this was Rucker Park, if this was Soul in the Hole, if this was, this is his nickname, the closer. So where can they get at you, Vern?
On Instagram at the loan closer, and on Twitter I'm B Chandler 10. Yep, get at me. I can get you in the house in North, South Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi.
Good Lord, bro, you prop Joe. You done took over the whole damn South.
Hey, man.
You done got the co-op game on lockdown there, bro.
The name of our company is Southeast Mortgage, so we locking down the Southeast. Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. JR, where can they get at you? The R&B reps. What's going on with y'all?
Well, when this episode comes out, the episode we have out is with Khalida Duran.
Oh.
And we talked about TLC Crazy Sexy Cool since the 30th anniversary is coming up. So we talked about it with her. We got her to sing on the show, so that was dope. So so check that out. R&B reps, still we putting out like clips of like just starting conversation. You know what I mean? Like we just put out the clip of who we thought shined with on New Edition's Home Again, who shined the most and who shined the least. So that started some conversation for real. We started the Freddie and Luther conversation. So we got people really coming. So follow us on R&B Reps on Instagram, on Twitter, R&B Reps on YouTube. Come to that. You're going to get Elisa's about to start back with her thing. She started again, but she added some stuff to it. The 1 minute, vinyl with Elise. She added something else to it. Dope. So she's getting back with that. JR's Motown Life. A new episode will be out. And we're doing the Catch That, and now we're gonna actually start talking about different eras on Catch That. So that's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? We talking about history. We want y'all to see that the R&B reps do got the knowledge of it all. So check us out there. JR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, no doubt. Trey, where can they get at you, good brother?
Man, any and everything, TracyLeeMusic.com. That's TracyLee music.com. I mean, if you want to check me out on IG, you can go to Tracy Lee ESQ, TracyLeeESQ. If you want to go to Facebook, that's just Tracy Lee. I don't be on X hardly, but you know what I mean, just to check out my man Kill and all that, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I don't really post much over there. But if you want to check me out over there, it's simply Trey Lee, TraYlee. But yeah, any and everything, TracyLeeMusic.com. And yeah, stay tuned for some new music. I'm feeling the vibe. I told you I don't really write until I got something to say, but now I got something to say. So just
all right, now Trey, just real quick, how many albums can you name your albums and let them know what's on TracyLeeMusic.com?
Oh man, you got Many Faces. That's the classic. That's on TracyLeeMusic.com. You can't find it on too many streaming platforms. I don't know what's going on with Universal, but it's cool. You can come to my site and just get it. You know what I mean? But then you got Live from the 215, where I created it under Universal, but they never released it. So I released it on my website. You know what I mean? Just so you can get a chronological order of, you know, the maturation of Tracy Lee. You want to start with Many Faces, then you want to go to Live from the 215. Then we go to law school, and after law school, we've got ESQ, the Revelation, which tells you about the gap between 215 and ESQ. So you can get that on TracyLeeMusic.com. But then right after that, we go to Expect the Unexpected with my man OJiz, you know what I'm saying, which is the first of 3 albums that we did, you know, together basically. So you go Expect the Unexpected, then you get Glory, you know what I'm saying, which was created in 2020, right after 2019's Expect the Unexpected, and we did that during the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? And that's just going to encapsulate what the pandemic is all about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you run around, listen to that album, and it'll give you the whole story, give you the full picture. Then right after that, in 2023, from 2020 to 2023, we give you Different. And Different is the latest project that we got out there. None of this is on streaming platforms. At least Different is not on streaming platforms. So you gotta go to TracyLeeMusic.com. You know what I'm saying? So those are the 6 albums. Many Faces, Live from the 215, ESQ the Revelation, Expect the Unexpected, Glory, and Different. All on TracyLeeMusic.com. Amongst other things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of boys be getting at me like, damn, what happened to Trey? Why he stopped rapping? And I'm like, nigga, never stop rapping. You know what I mean? So, you know, but this is where like we kind of had to shift the, you know, we had to find music. Veg, what's going on? Bed-Stuy Vintage.
Man, so Bed-Stuy Vintage is me and Kill's 6th project.
Woo!
It is a celebration of 30 years of rapping for myself. I kind of wanted to just kind of focus on bars because, you know, I'm more of a
Yes, babe.
dude, you know. And you know, I kind of wanted to, you know, get in the pocket and get some of that old Brooklyn recorded now. But you know, as far as content, sure, it's boom bap, but there's a lot of other concepts on there. Again, there's a song called "Tell Me Another One," where, you know, I mean, if you're online, Vision is history and fucking hot takes in hip hop that drive us all crazy because we've never heard nobody say these things. So that's a song addressing that. I also have a song called "With Love," which is a metaphor for gentrified Brooklyn, and I treat it like a woman who won't answer my calls, saying, "Oh, I don't recognize you no more. You acting different." Kind of. So there's a lot of stuff in there like that as well, but you know, especially songs like "Trappin' Shit" and "Rorschach," and "Hoodie Vegas." I ain't got the hoodie on, but I will. You know, are songs where, you know, I get to flex that muscle, and I talk a lot of shit, man. Yeah,
You talking greasy, babe? You talking greasy?
I'm talking a lot of shit, Tracy. Like these niggas ain't saying shit, you know? But they better not, cause I'm feeling frisky. I'm like you got something to say. You like, oh yo, back up, don't catch those strays and shit. But yeah, man, you know it was a dope album, totally produced by Kill. You know what I'm saying? He laced me with some dope beats, and we have a couple of new things coming up real soon before the new year to kind of cap it off with a couple of other joints. So check that out. That's on Vegas World, inc.bandcamp.com, as well as all the streaming platforms. But who the fuck writes down that stuff? You can just follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. It's in my profile. You can just click the links and get straight to the content. So.
No doubt. You know who it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. I got to shout out my brother Ev's album, The Order of the Lyricist, Prophet. Album I'm very proud of. This one of the first albums that like that I kind of was like on some co-production, like executive producer, like just working with Ev, with just trying to put together everything. And it's an incredible album. He's sharing a lot about his life on that album, so definitely want to shout that out. And that's at 7 names at 7nms.com where you can cop that. And just want to give a shout out, a rest in peace shout out to Quincy Jones. We lost a living legend. Like when people throw the word legend around, it to the point. Porsche hit me on Monday and was like, Kill, should we do a dedication show to Quincy? And I was like, I'm not the one to do that, and I wouldn't want to do a disservice. I don't know. My Quincy starts with Right Around the Wiz, so there's so much before that I don't even feel like I'm the person to do that. You know what I mean? And I never want to do somebody a disservice. I can't just start with the Wiz. Like, dog, that's like trying to start with Jay-Z with the Magna Cum Laude. I said Magna Cum Laude. Magna. I'm talking about the Magna Carta. Like that would do such a disservice to Jay. Like what? No reasonable doubt. And again, I always tell people on Twitter, I want to speak intelligently, and that's something that I cannot do to give Quincy Jones the props and the credit that he deserves. So just for anybody wondering, like, damn, Apartment 5B ain't gonna shout out Quincy. I don't have the knowledge to be able.
Honestly, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much. It is.
Like really, that is beyond. That's like about 3-4 episodes. Like seriously.
Right, just per era. Almost.
It's 6 decades of music.
Just go to Netflix and put on Quincy.
Right, that his daughter did, and it was
just do that.
And go read his autobiography. That's what you got to do.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Sinatra, Ray Charles.
Like he worked with everybody.
I just want to say, because I kind of watch to see what people are doing or whatever as far as content creation and trying to honor. And I'm not trying to throw no shade for people honoring, but there's a lot of fucking talking heads, and I know that's a term, but really talking heads who leave out the jazz.
Yeah,
right. And thank you. I always say that it bothers me because I be seeing them on Twitter. It's like they act like it starts with Michael.
Right.
Start there and then they go. I'm like, do y'all not know? They acting like Michael made him. I'm like, Quincy was big before him. Like
Quincy made Michael. Quincy made. Let's not get it fucked up. Quincy made the Michael Jackson that you know.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, let's talk about all the movies he scored, all these TV shows. You like Sanford and Son? You ever heard that song before? That's Quincy Jones. So yeah, just go to Netflix and put on Quincy and just do that.
Yeah, because we would have, that's like a 6-part documentary.
And then again, like I said, I'm not that person. Like I'm very big on, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right. And I know where my limitations are, and that I didn't want to, so I'm like, P, nothing but love and respect to Quincy, but I'm not the right person. I'll retweet the person who does it the right way, or like Vern said, watch the thing, but I'm I'm not there. I don't have that knowledge right there.
We're gonna do something. Me and Elisa's gonna do a little something for it. So, because we was like, let it die down, because we seeing what everybody doing, and that joint is like, yo, if y'all don't know, like you said, then don't do it, yo. Like, for real. Like it's just,
what really is disrespectful. Like,
yes.
And that's what I didn't want to do. I felt like it would be disrespectful to start from 74 on. So I'm like, I'm not disrespecting nobody's legacy, but just for people watching, that's why it's been out there. And two, for everybody on my timeline, I really need sensitive people to unfollow me. It's cool, y'all. I am not hurt when people unfollow me. I enjoy it a little bit. So, here's the thing. If you say some nut ass shit on my timeline, we're going to laugh at you. We're going to make jokes about you. But that's all it is. It's no disrespect. It's the same shit we did in Philly growing up around the way. You say something stupid, we laugh at you. When I have some wild opinions, people laugh at me. I need to go back and listen to the album because I haven't heard it. But when Chance the Rapper finally dropped his album, like not the mixtapes, but the album, I was the only human being who liked this album, and Twitter made fun of me for 7 days. Y'all roasted me. All the jokes, it was hilarious. I'm laughing emoji back. It's all fun. Like, dog, if you say some wild shit, niggas is gonna laugh at you, but please do not DM me like, yo, can you stop having your people make fun of me? Stop saying dumb shit. Like, you got two decisions. Don't say dumb shit or just get roasted or unfollow me. You got 3 options. But please don't DM me like, yo, man, why can you get your peoples to stop? Like, no, I fucking can't get my peoples to stop. You said some crazy shit and we laughing at you. And that's just it. It's no disrespect. There's no disrespect. It's just you gotta be prepared for that. And this should be all fun and games, but just in case it's not, you can definitely unfollow me. It's all good. It's no disrespect on my end. So I appreciate y'all. I will check y'all. Oh, my bad, babe. What's up?
Real quick, because you torched some nigga. I don't even be involved with this shit, but I was like, damn, what Shorty say? Like, I had to read that shit to see what he said. But I'm with you because I engage. Right. I'm here with the fuck shit, and I remember this one woman who, she was cool, did something similar, and I made a joke about something, and she said, not cool. And you know what I said to her? You know what to do.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, I didn't even say get the fuck out of here. I said, you know what to do.
Right.
You don't have to be.
Again, I had to explain to a shorty the other day. We was going back and forth, and she was like, well, I mean, there's no need for you to be cursing at me. And I'm like, oh, shorty, I'm not cursing at you. I just curse. So none of that shit is not cursing at you. Cursing at you would be like you would da-da-da-da. So it's like there's a difference, y'all. There's a difference. And again, you could totally unfollow me. Totally get it. Totally got it. Like I told y'all, at 50, there's a new wave kill. So at 50, I really don't care. Please unfollow me. But all that to say, great show, y'all. Prayerfully, y'all got some pride. I would love to hear other people talk about what made y'all happy with y'all see. And I will catch y'all next week, good people.